Hello everyone, we're live! I already forgot something. I forgot the BGM. Wow.
Nice. You did warn us.
We're
You
live. I
bad
forgot
brain.
everything.
That's just how it is! Okay, let me start the BGM.
This is great.
Yeah, this is how we do it. Howie Mandel.
This is how
Wouldn't
we
have it
do
any other way.
Okay. Firefly.
I am in the yam now.
Oh, that's really loud. I'm so sorry, everyone. Okay. Welcome to episode 2 of VTuber RoundTable. Today I have with me a whole new list of guests, some new friends, some old friends. Let's go in Discord call order and introduce ourselves. So EG first and Static last. Again, I'm sorry. I think it's just alphabetical order. I'm not gonna forget you this time, Static. I'm not gonna forget you.
Oh,
Word.
I see how it is. Oh.
Is it alphabetic?
I think it's No!
I didn't know that.
No, it's not.
It's not!
No.
What? Is it it's not joined order
I just said
either.
become
Oh, no.
before I. No.
Okay, I don't know how
It's just random. How you like that?
It's random. Yeah, just say it's random.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely random. Yeah.
Maybe it's an order of nutrients. Start with mushroom, go to flan, and then up into curry and salad.
Alright, let's start
Maybe
with
calorie count.
Oh,
EG. Go ahead, EG.
I like that.
Hi, I'm Squeegee, or EG. I'm a mushroom VTuber. I primarily do things on YouTube. I talk about character design. I'm an art educator in my daily life, so that kind of bleeds over to my videos. Yeah! Thank you for having me.
Hello, everybody. I'm Galaxy Brainocus. I'm the guy who likes to cry at the night sky, and I don't mean I'm feeling lacrimose. Oh,
Lacrimose.
That's vocab of the week. Everyone remember? Yeah, we were talking about that. Anyway, I make video essays about cultural stuff. You know, high culture, Mozart and stuff. No, really, just mostly VTubers and like Sonic.
VTubers and Sonic, what else does anyone need?
That's all.
Okay, who's next?
I think it's
Andrew?
me.
Yes!
Yeah.
Ooh, I am extremely nervous, so hopefully I can say all of my adjectives in the proper order.
You got this.
I am a Finnick Fox Kitsune Ninja, which I did get right. I'm just starting on my YouTube journey, so I'm trying my best to be a positive educator, trying to show the things that I've learned on my journey, and kind of bring some of my real life stuff into it. I used to work in comic books. I used to go to conventions. I used to work in manga. Yeah, looking forward to sharing all my knowledge.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hi everyone, I'm Shag Mommy, your local Udger's Tentacle Monster Sea Slug, and I cover TTRPGs, Gunpla, and VTuber educational stuff, and I used to work as a photographer for a rare book auction house.
Dang, that's
I
so
also do
cool.
art, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Static.
Oh man, everyone's so cool. What the fuck? What the fuck? What is it? Nah, bro, that's not fair, dude. I can't. Hey, what's good, y'all? I'm Static Tokyo. I'm just a guy. I do videos on whatever I want. Mostly VTubers right now, but I'm no VTubers.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
That's pretty
One
awesome.
of us. One of us.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if you are interested in anyone's socials, I have them in the description of the YouTube VOD. So if you look in the pinned comment on Twitch, you can click on over to the YouTube VOD and grab everyone's socials. It is a Bat Bunch requirement that you follow these people here. Non-negotiable. Thank you. Okay. So last month we talked about like VTuber agencies, and this month we are talking about VTuber models. Now, something everyone has in common here is we have some sort of VTuber model, whether that be PNG, 2D, or 3D. Everyone except me tonight is a PNG, but you know, I'm pretty sure we've got the full spectrum from EG being a 3D. We got everyone
Oh,
like
that rhymes.
Okus and me and Pandora and Shag having live 2D, and then Static is a PNG tuber. So we got everyone under the sun. I'm gonna add a gain filter to myself because apparently I'm not loud enough. Thank you for telling me, chat.
Oh, no.
Okay, that should be better.
She's
Yeah.
been too susurrous lately.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Oh no, I'm peeking. There we go. Test. Okay, now I'm good. Whew. Sounds good now. Thank you.
Sometimes red's okay.
Sometimes red's okay. Thanks. Okay, let me questions.
You know,
Just
it's
a
been
little
a
bit.
busy day when you're.
Oh no. Is my internet dead? Yeah. Oh boy.
I still hear you.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
Storm.
You're back.
I'm
like
back.
analog horror.
I'm back.
So if anyone disappears, that's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
You're back.
Oh yeah, my internet is gonna be very interesting, guys. In fact, I'm gonna start recording now so that just in case I have footage, in case we go totally offline, we can upload the VOD.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
I should probably also. Sorry,
Good plan.
I know you guys just introduced yourselves, but I also kind of want to go around the table talking about like what kind of models you've had in the past, so that we kind of get everyone's background. I'll start. So I've had 3. I used to be a PNG tuber, and then I self-made 2 VTuber models. I both drew and rigged them, and the current model I have is one that I drew, but then I had my friend Azu rig it to my specifications. So yeah, this is illustrated by me, but then I did hire a rigger, so that was my first commission experience.
Mm.
Long
Very
pause as
good.
we all contemplate.
It's okay.
As we all try and decide who's
Mm.
next.
Let us meditate.
Right?
Those.
Do we want to establish a table order?
Uh-oh.
We can.
It's like popcorn reading all over.
I was
again,
worried
you
it
know?
disconnected.
I was too.
I thought it
Likewise.
disconnected as well.
Oh.
What?
Let's
go in order of dimensionality. We'll start with 1 and work our way up to 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Interesting.
what? Wait, okay, so I'm next then, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm just
Sure.
PNG.
I don't think you're one-dimensional, though.
True. I'm not one-dimensional. Whatever. Listen.
Oh, 2 and we'll work our way up to 4. Anyone here a time traveler?
I was legit just before I took YouTube serious, I was legit just a Obanai Reed color. That was it. I was just a manga panel that I just made black because I'm not black. And then I was like, I'm stealing. Maybe I should not do this. And then I paid someone to like do something more original. I still have like the trademark bandage snake combo because I think it's cool. But now I'm just how I am. I am having a live 2D model being made right now though.
Woo!
Oh, exciting.
Exciting, yeah.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah.
Cool, kind of cool.
Dang.
Oh, also I paid people. I'm not good at art.
Oh, yeah.
That's
You
not
keep us
me. I'm
alive.
gonna stick to editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? We need the commissioner's perspective just as much as we need the artist's perspective here. Pandora, do you want to go
Yeah,
next?
the wacky journey of finding commissions.
I can go next. I did start as a PNG tuber.
Mhm.
I am an artist, so I drew my very first self. I was kind of talking in our text chat on the Discord that I used to be a Gorgon, so very, very different than what I am now. So I can definitely respect the snakes.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Fire.
Yeah, and I actually drew my new form as well. For the rigging, I hired somebody to do the major parts, and I also bought the file. So, like, my wifey and I have been tinkering with it, upgrading the rigging and things like that. It's also a teaching tool. So eventually, I'm going to be able to draw it, rig it, and all of that. So
Awesome.
that is my eventual artist goal.
Woo woo. Yeah, I did the opposite.
It's
I
definitely nice
gave
to
up
be able
on
to
rigging
tinker with
over
it.
time. I was like, you know,
It's difficult.
there's a
There's
reason why
lot to it.
people pay people to do this. I'm done. All right, Okus, you want to go next?
God, now that I've gone through that whole process.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's really good to be able to like tinker with it after the fact though. You save so much money.
Yeah.
But at what intangible cost?
Yep.
But yeah, that was okay, so like I started with live 2D, but in retrospect, I probably if I did it over, I'd probably just start with the ping. That's definitely the play because you get started faster. But I can't draw either, so I went out and hired somebody. I didn't know anything about commissioning, so I basically started with Fiverr. Nowadays worked, so I'd have a more sophisticated approach to finding an artist. But that was kind of like the hardest thing starting out, is just having no idea even what to begin looking for. So I got what I now know is called a design sheet. And I think I've told this story before, but I didn't know that like the design, the modeling, I figured it out as I went. And I actually, I ended up following tutorials that they had back then on YouTube. There were these insane people who would make their own custom live 2Ds out of like screenshots from anime off of TV. And I followed that to cut up my design sheet and make my first rig out of that. And it was a nightmare. It was a waking nightmare. So, but I learned a valuable lesson. That's what I've done since. That was my version 1. So the real artist who drew it for me. And but my big goal was to learn how to rig it. Because I looked at the software and said, wait a minute, I know some editing stuff. I know what keyframes are. Maybe I can figure it. Like smash cut to a month and a half later, and you know, I was emaciated and ghoulish and almost dead. But I was exporting a working rig file, and that was cool. And I'm happy I did that.
Yeah. Yeah, Okus is our resident live 2D rigger here tonight, because I haven't rigged in such a long time. Oh boy. Oh boy. And the last live 2D rig I gave up after the head turn. I didn't rig the body at all, because I was just like, I'm done. No one's gonna see the body. I'm just gonna...
Oh.
Alright, EG, tell us your background with the VTuber models.
Oh, I thought we were doing 3D last.
Oh, are we? Sorry. Sean, do you want to go next? I'm sorry.
Alright. Sure. No, you're good. So yeah, I started out with not of Shog, I was a noodle kitsune. And I used that for Live D for about a year until I ended up designing Shog, my current model, and I contacted my current model mama. She did the rigging and the art. I ended up getting another one that I use oftenish currently, and I went through Fiverr for that one. And that said, I'm working on my own model right now. I'm probably going to I want to do the rigging, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So
Oh,
Sable
Thank
and
you.
Good
Nebula
luck.
and friends are raiding the Bat
Undertaking.
Colony.
yeah. It is a lot of work to design, rig, and draw. Like, even self-designed people, I have a lot of respect, because you gotta think about the model and its uses. So, yeah.
Mhm.
All right, EG.
Oh yeah.
Now
It
it's
as well,
now
but yeah.
it's now it's your turn.
Ooh.
Sorry, my internet is oof. Hopefully it's okay.
Mhm.
Poor thing.
It's all good. Technically, I've been through all 3 model types. The live 2D never saw the light of day for important reasons. What you see here at first, which I drew, and this was one of my like reference arts for my first 3D model that I had made for VTubing. I've been a 3D modeler since 2018, so
Mm.
one of the reasons I got into VTubing was because I was like, what do you mean? I can just like pilot the thing that I made? Are you kidding me? That's so cool. So I got into that. Oh, I can't tell how badly my thing is lagging or not because it looks like Yem is talking, but I can't hear her.
No, I was drinking. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't talking over you if you were speaking. But I made my first 3D model of myself, and then once upon a time, back before there were live 2D tutorials, back when it was just the like Fire Emblem pet your like wife essentially creator, I tried to make one and it was really rough. And then I tried to make one again like a year and a half ago because I was like, oh, I hear 3D skills translate to 2D really well. And I spent the entire time being like, this would be so much easier if I just did it 3-dimensionally. Why am I doing it this way? So I'm 3D. I love 3D. I will try and sell you on 3D. That's my
Yeah,
job.
yeah. We're gonna talk about that. I'm excited too. Oh no, the music stopped and my frames are dropping. Why is life? Oh.
That's just called technology, bro.
Yeah, for reals. If we have to go offline, it is what it is, but we will try our best to stay live. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to
Make do with what we got.
right. Let's go to the first question. Yeah. Oh, just found EG yesterday. Well, make sure you're followed. You gotta follow everyone here. That's just the rules of
Thank you for finding me.
VTuber RoundTable. Okay. You guys ready for the first question? The first question tonight is, what would you say the advantages of PNG, 2D, and 3D are?
Ping's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. First one, I paid $20, bro.
Let's go.
Whoa!
I paid $20. I tipped them heavy though because $20 felt a little low. But PNG easier. It doesn't like sources on your PC when you use it, and it's just overall cheaper.
Potato compliant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Easy.
Main downside, though,
Won't eat your-
definitely the downside is I would struggle daily not to quote the Dr. Robotnik meme.
yeah, it's definitely good for high intense games.
Yeah, because it uses so many of your resources on your PC. Yeah, so if you're still looking to like upgrade your PC or your tracking, like you should start with a PNG. I'd also say because it's lower cost, it's also lower commitment. So if you're like not 100% locked in, like, oh, I don't know if I want to be a Batgirl. I don't know how I feel about this design. I think it's a really good way to just see how you feel about the character you are wanting to play. And if you feel like it's a disconnect, then you've only sunk like what, $50 to $100 into it rather than $5K in some cases, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's easier to edit with too, actually.
Yeah, much easier to edit videos with.
If you're making videos, I mean.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Such smaller file sizes, you don't understand. You don't understand how much space video takes up, even if it's not high res. Or high.
Sometimes, like when you're talking and even if your tracking's really, sometimes it'll lose track in the middle of your like talking and stuff, and you're like, Shh, darn, I have to
Yeah.
go back.
Yep.
And like you do that. When PNG, you don't have to do that.
Not
Yeah.
at all.
I think
Yeah.
PNG can be superior for specific kinds of content too, like vlogging. I think if you're doing like something that requires your face to be away from your phone or whatever tracking you want to do, having a PNG tuber that's just based on sound instead of tracking can actually make the experience more immersive and not less immersive.
Mm-hmm.
You can like do IRL content and stuff a lot easier. Like if you're like going around and you want to go to a festival, you can have like a PNG displayed
Oh,
Mhm.
I hadn't
so
done
everyone
that.
can see everything behind.
Yay.
Or if you're an artist, you're kind of fear learning curve of live 2D or 3D. PNG is so much lower. You just draw 2 frames pretty much. So much easier. And if you're not an artist, you can use like Pie Crews or do you say Picrew?
It
don't
doesn't
quite know.
matter.
You can do that,
Yeah.
and you can make it for free. Like
Make
make
it for
commercial
free.
permissions. So like
Go-
that's just free.
Go check out Ichi's video exactly on how to make a free PNG tuber. I recommend that video
Yes.
to everyone.
Ooh.
It is part of my official VTuber starter pack, TM.
Oh, thanks. Credit your artist of the the Pie Crew, or I will
Yes.
hunt you down. I
Oh,
will
yes.
find you.
Oh,
Indeed.
another one. If you do your character design sheet, you can use that as your PNG. So you got out of the way.
2 birds with 1 stone.
Mm.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And it's much easier to do like upgrades. Much easier. Whereas Live 2D, you need a re-rig. PNG, you just need to draw a different outfit. You just need to draw a different, little hat or new hairstyle. Especially if you kept your PNG layered.
Or
Yep.
just put the PNG into such as a dessert or a plate of curry or anything like that.
On
You've
top
got
of
a
a
whole
pudding.
new theme.
It's also easier
Mhm.
to do expression toggles,
I
especially.
got
yeah.
curry up in my toes.
ASMR stream.
Curry toes.
Yeah.
Or what is the PNG Tuber
Yeah.
Plus now too? There's like burst live 2D
That's
to
what
some
I
degree where you
use.
can like you can have a
Yeah.
little bit of bounce, a little bit of jiggle, a little bit of motion physics.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like way
Yeah,
less
it's like-
cutting, less layers, less intense.
It's like
And I think
25
most computers can
layers.
still run it.
Layers mostly. Most of the ones I have are like, I don't think they go past 30
Mm.
layers.
It depends. I've seen some really detailed ones, but at that point, you might as well just do
Mhm.
live 2D.
Yeah, I have seen some crazy ones, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think my
It gets great. PNG too, but you can do a lot with it.
Yeah, I think people underestimate it just because they don't see it in the corporate sphere. But honestly, PNG tubing has been a tried and true content creation method long before VTubers were ever a thing. So definitely, something to
That's
consider.
funny that they don't consider it like with corporate though, because like
I know.
you get corporate collabs in which they're not using their models on stream, they're using their Discord foogies, which I would, propose this is PNG tubing.
Right.
Oh,
Mhm.
from the TTRPG space, it's actually PNG is really useful
Oh.
if you're doing live shows. Really good.
I
Yeah,
see.
I can imagine.
Because then you have everyone's character as their character and they're speaking and it lights up. So you know which
You know
character
who's
specifically is
talking.
doing what action.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, so many uses. I also think, so my friend, he's gonna be on my channel soon, but he basically treated, he's like, okay, I'm an artist, I'm gonna make my PNG for your stream. He basically treated it like making visual novel poses for himself, and he's gonna toggle in between them using PNG, or the
Oh.
auto
Sprite
tube.
sheet.
Yeah, like a whole sprite sheet with different poses, and that's something I did not think about. But like being able to like cycle in between poses can be a really good use of PNG tubing, and we see that more in the video creation space where like PNG tubers. I'm so sorry, Saber, if you don't consider yourself a PNG tuber, but like Saber Spark, he's a movie critic.
I was thinking of him.
And he's got like 30 poses that he uses whenever he is matching his voiceover to his PNG tuber, and his model is quite expressive just from being able to have that much body movement in between like sentences and stuff. It's yeah. Whereas with Live 2D, unless you have like a crazy rig that does like hand tracking, or you're constantly wanting to press buttons, you're kind of stuck here, more or less. I'm dropping frames again. Oh gosh. But like, you know, I can do a little bit of wiggle.
That's all right. We can keep up.
And this is considered like
Wiggle!
Yeah, my model is considered quite advanced. It's a full body rig, which is more expensive than what people typically get, which is like the shoulder up, because like who's gonna see your feet, right? But I would even consider if you really like put time and effort into your PNG, you can get more poses than a 2D VTuber. Not necessarily more than a 3D VTuber, but definitely more than a live 2D. And speaking of live 2D, why don't we talk about the benefits of live 2D? I will go first, I suppose. I guess it's just the cartoony face tracking. I think my face tracking is my favorite part about my live 2D. But I also use iPhone AR Kit, and not everyone can afford to get iPhone AR Kit.
Is that different than just the iPhones that have the face chip? Is that what that is describing?
It's just
Or is it something
the
more
face
specific?
tracking in iPhone. Yeah. It utilizes AR Kit. It's the thingy it's called. Sorry. I think. Am I off on that?
I was worried that I was remote.
Oh wait.
Okay.
So question,
I didn't know I had any.
have just like web or like camera based?
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat that? My internet.
You're using VTube Studio on the iPhone, right?
Yeah, I'm using VTube Studio on the iPhone.
Okay. Technically, if you're that doesn't really fully use the abilities of the tracking either. That's not using 52 blend shapes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
you can
blew
get
Yam's mind.
Yeah, you can get similar tracking to probably what you're getting through webcam now.
That's so cool!
With MediaPipe.
Wait, what the heck?
Android would
That's
do the
awesome.
same.
That's awesome. I'm so glad.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
The RTX is really good too.
yeah, I've heard that Nvidia's tracking is definitely
RTX on, RTX off. Yeah, meme.
Yeah. So I'm glad that
It's
Oh,
worthwhile,
I just got a
yeah.
new XD.
yeah, when I
I should look
started
into that.
But your model needs to be kind of set for that.
I see.
Hmm.
When I started VTubing, the only thing that was available for us was Pero Live for Live 2D, or Live 2D's like official tracking software. So it was like you either pay a subscription with Live 2D's tracking software, or you do Pero Live, which worked a lot worse. It was a lot worse. It was a lot more scuff. So back in early 2020, we were all envious of the 3D VTubers for having superior tracking.
To walk 20 miles through curry and salads.
Bro, you know what I started with?
What?
Face rig.
Oh, face
Ooh.
rig!
Oh,
Let's
face
go!
rig!
Yeah,
Face
yeah.
rig is crazy, dude.
That raccoon.
Memories unlocked.
Oh,
Yep,
God.
yep.
Animes.
Yeah, I played around with face rig, but
Oh, yeah.
I could not get my model to like look okay in it, and I don't know why.
It was bad.
It was finicky.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, they only had facial tracking. It didn't do any like body parts other than the face. So if you wanted your body to move at all, you had to rig it to face inputs, right?
Yeah.
You had to kind of finagle it. That's the way it worked. And even then, it wasn't that great.
Ugh.
You'd be lucky. Well, you'd be lucky to get a bit of jostle in your shoulders.
Yeah.
And we liked it that way. And we liked it that way, dang it.
So yeah, live 2D. I feel like you have the ability to look more like not hand drawn, but like puppet animation. You know, like 2D puppet animation.
Like a Bunraku.
You can get like some really cartoony expressions going that kind of how do I put this? Look hand drawn. Like I purposefully with my model I went more of a I went thicker lines and more cartoony because I wanted to like emphasize the fact that I am live 2D with this model. And I think some of these things, you know, would be a little more difficult to do in 3D, but I'm not sure on that. I'm just like, the nice thing about live 2D is if you can draw and you look up a tutorial, you can prepare a model for it, you know?
I feel like buttons would be too powerful in 3D. You'd all be in danger.
Wadoro now has basically the anime 2D cell shading that Guilty Gear has now.
Let's go! Let's go! I love Guilty Gear's art style.
Yeah, it has that type of shading now. So like, I have a friend. He's like, I'm gonna drop 2D and just go back to doing 3D.
That's so exciting.
I will say there's a catch.
Oh, there is a catch on it?
Catch. Yeah, in order to have that Guilty Gear style shading on a 3D model, your 3D model has to be set up for it.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody who can do custom normals, and you have to have a specific shader in order for it to work.
Yep.
And to use that shader, you need the pro version of Warudo, which is kind of expensive.
Okay, good to know.
So a couple catches there.
Yeah.
There's always a pro version somewhere.
I think
They gotta keep the lights on.
Yeah.
I
I think it does bode well for like the tech going to good directions though.
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry
it's
to cut you
advanced so much in just 4 years.
Yeah.
So many more options.
Yeah.
Which is possibly part of why the agencies are feeling the burn these days.
Right,
It's harder to be in a
right.
class of your own, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah. So like
Oh no.
I think the one like real advantage of live 2D would be that I think people who are into VTubers prefer it, the look of it the most. I don't know how else to say it, like the way the physics work and the way the models turn out. I think people just prefer how it looks. I can't necessarily say whether I'm in that camp or not, just because it really depends on the model, but I've heard like the general consensus is like, oh, I prefer it when the Hololive girls use their 2D models, not their 3D models, and that kind of stuff.
I can tell you why that is.
Ooh,
I can
tell me why. Tell me why.
And I can tell you that it's a lot of the reasons why 3D, we envy a lot of aspects that 2D has too, and we're always trying to catch up to them because 2D, live 2D, you have full control over everything. Nothing is simulated. So there is no simulated shading. Your shading is all rigged. So it is exactly perfect as you want it to be on that exact head angle, on that exact this, that. You're not relying on a metal shader to pretend to be metal. Somebody has made your metal have the exact reflections that they want it to have. Every animation that you have is keyframed to have exact, or it's hand-drawn, to be exactly the way the artist intends it to be. Which, granted, having this much control is one of the reasons live 2D is so overwhelming to some degree, where it's so much easier to just, it's 3D, therefore I have angles. But you can just break reality with live 2D, and it doesn't matter. You can do things that are physically impossible. You can have no need to worry about anything having collision or clipping through things or any of that, because
That
you have
biblically
such full
accurate mode
control.
they added.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of silly
Well,
though.
yeah.
So
But-
wait, in like 3D, there's no keyframing ever?
No. There's keyframing, but
okay.
it's not quite the same because in 3D, a lot of the stuff that you're doing is simulated, and a lot of the stuff you're doing has like very specific kinds of interpolation.
Mm-hmm.
Where in 2D there's more control over it. Where in 2D there's no simulated physics other than like you get your pendulums a little bit.
Yeah.
And you have a little more control over that. In 3D we're limited to specifically what parameters the like bones that you're in your hair can do, and then it just does its own thing and does
Dang.
whatever it
Oh.
decides to do.
EG, you
Well,
should
it's
make
like
a
Marge
video
Simpson.
on this because I've been a VTuber
I
for
am.
4 years and I didn't know this. I didn't know.
I am.
Do it.
And me being here, I'm also stealing all of
Yes.
your knowledge secretly.
Steal it. Suck it
Um,
up with a straw. Let's go.
So I'll be citing this video in my references for that one. But yeah, that is in the plans.
Releasing millions of knowledge spores.
Woo!
It's getting in the curry.
I will
Yeah.
infect you all.
I feel like I just got drip fed like the sweetest knowledge ever that I've never heard because I'm not on the 3D side and people always ask me 3D questions and I'm like, I'm so sorry. That is like the
Yeah.
one part of VTubing I have never experienced. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know how to help you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
People do impressive things with that 3D though. Oh, we haven't started talking about it yet though.
Well, does anyone else have anything to say about Live 2D other like the benefits of Live 2D other than it's cartoony and it's precisely exactly how you want it to look?
It's probably
You
the
can
best
change things about it
compromise.
live.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't change things about your model live? Like
Kind of. You can like change your colors on a completed live 2D model, like whenever you want, kind of. You can't do that on 3D, really. Not nearly as easily, at least.
Hmm.
Can you guys pin
Um,
items?
Whoa.
We can now. We couldn't
Okay.
until like a year ago.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
But you can. It requires a bit more work to import an item. It's not as easy as draw object, put it in the program, sadly.
Hmm.
Oh.
There's a lot more behind it. You gotta set it up in Unity usually.
Dude.
Dude, I didn't even know how good we have it. I was just like,
You
what?
got it pretty good on that.
Yeah, bro. I had no
Also,
clue. I had
well,
no
running a
clue
live
at
2D
all.
isn't like too bad on your computer for the most part, right?
Mhm.
Well,
Like I guess it
depending on how
probably depends on the
complicated, yeah.
exact tracker.
It
but,
depends
like,
on your
VTube
art
Studio-
meshes too. You gotta
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta have a rigger who knows how to optimize, aka not me. Despite this being 500 more layers than my last live 2D, it runs better than my last live 2D because I actually had my rigger optimize it, and she actually knew how to do that.
Oh, that reminds me. I learned after I was done rigging my whole model and several others, I learned that you can actually mirror stuff like eyes.
Oh no, you just
Yeah.
Oh
I didn't know you could do that. So
Oh.
next time, I'm actually getting back into learning live 2D. I let my license expire and I haven't touched it since version 4, so I'm like kind of relearning it. But this time,
this is what I mean by pinning
Yes.
items on your live 2D
Ah.
model, by the way, guys. I just gave Buttons some glasses.
shades.jpg.
There you
I
go.
guess-
Um,
I guess another thing with live TD over like PNG is a lot of people look for the movement and when they're scrolling through people to watch, and I kind of feel like to a certain extent like a flashing Fujitech might not draw the eye nearly as much as something that's moving around and bouncing around and stuff like a normal face cam would.
Oh.
Mm. Expressiveness, I guess.
Bro.
It is nice to be able
Yeah.
to make
A
faces
bit of
and
caveat.
stuff.
Oh.
A bit of a caveat to that is a lot of people come into this assuming that you have to be like the Corpos, you have
Yeah.
to have that live 2D model,
Yeah.
and that's what you need for success. But I've seen people with a PNG just absolutely blow up.
Mhm.
People with 3D absolutely blow up. So
Mhm.
you don't need to copy one specific person or a Corpo or whatever.
Right.
If you're doing what you love and you're having fun and creating good content, people will come. It's not
Yeah.
directly linked to how much you spend.
Absolutely.
No.
Chat.
I mean, even live
True.
live 2Ds, you can get free live 2Ds or low price live 2Ds that are customizable.
Oh, yeah, that's how I remember
Mhm.
started.
Mm.
Oh, absolutely.
Chat.
And now she owns 500 models.
Yep. Chat also adds, also more styles are available for live 2D, at least in all angles. I wonder, art styles. I should add a talking point about art styles actually. Is there any limit to 3D art styles like that you know of, e.g.? Are there any art styles that are harder to do in 3D?
Not especially. I mean, some things get a little bit weird. You know, like a lot of times it's painted shading and that spot. You just need to find them. But there are most styles that can be made into a like 3D model for VTubing. And it's funny because there's actually a lot more 3D modelers who are more well versed in non-anime styles who now have adapted to VTubing styles as a result.
I see.
So
I see.
yeah.
I would say like for like really hard to get a very thick line art style looking consistent. Because what happens is you're gonna
I have heard that.
end up squashing meshes. And then there's gonna be some like pixelation at joints with any art style, but the thicker the lines, the more obvious that is. Realistic styles are also very limited in Live 2D, specifically because you can reach Uncanny Valley way faster through Live 2D than 3D for some reason. I don't exactly understand how that works, but realism is going to require more layers and more attention to the face angles, because if you're just even slightly off on anything with the face angles, you're gonna like that was Iris 1.0's issue, was the nose was it was realistically shaded, but then it was only one layer of a nose, and that type of nose that Iris had is completely possible in 6 layers ish, with the sides like drawn for the face angles. Like my nose is 6 layers to get that point jutting out, you see.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man.
I never knew that. Yeah.
Jeez.
I do know that if you're doing Live 2D using vector, it's a lot easier. It's annoying, but you don't run into that nearly as much as like stretching and messing up your pixels.
I see. Yeah. It's
My chibi
I
is
didn't
all
know you could do
vectors.
vector.
You can use vectors. You can make it as big as small. Yeah, the
that's
vectors are really
good
for
to
that.
know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Dang.
See,
The vectors you
that is good.
can
to
blow
know.
it up the size of a building and it loses no
Mhm.
quality at all. It doesn't run on pixels, it runs
Yep.
on math.
Yeah.
Wow.
Woo, math.
Wow. See, this is why I have guests, because they fill in my knowledge gaps. They fill in my knowledge gaps.
Now it is annoying. It is really, really annoying because you're not really, you are drawing, but at the same time you're not, because you're using I don't know if you've ever used Photoshop, but you're basically like using tools. You grab each one of the little balls on each end of the line and you pull it using the tool rather than actually drawing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like the pen tool in
Oh,
Photoshop.
yeah,
You
like
can
the pen
change the
thing,
line with the
yeah.
handles.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's annoying though.
I was gonna say I have never used Photoshop. It used me.
I don't use it willingly.
All right.
Oh,
Go
not
ahead.
Clip Studio. Clip Studio and Psy both. Clip Studio and Psy both have also a vector base.
Nice.
Oh, does Krita have that?
I don't know about Krita.
Oh, well.
Theirs are really heavy because they use like overcompensate on like control.
Oh.
I've had friends who used it and was
Oh,
very
well, that's
successful.
good. Okay, maybe they've changed their algorithm, but sometimes it gives you files that are really, really heavy.
Oh, was it Krita? Oh, I don't know. I thought
well-
it did say Clip Studio.
I mean, it could be any of them, but Clip Studio used to.
I see.
Has anyone made a model using MS Paint?
Yes.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
Oh
imagine
man, I
so.
want to find that person.
kinda
I
want-
need to.
Yeah, empowered.
I need to find that.
Writing
person.
down this idea.
So they can
go for
they
it.
can-
Holy-
Layers now?
Yes.
They can
Yes.
draw. They can.
Whoa.
Oh wait, MS Paint has layers now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was an update. Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
then
yo,
maybe
that
I'm
is
gonna
pretty
do
good.
a
Watch out. Watch out, Photoshop MS
New
Paint's on its
challenge.
way.
maybe that's gonna be a new challenge. Maybe I will.
It does have layers. Oh my god.
Maybe I'll do a drawing a model in MS Paint stream. That sounds like fun. And then I'll make Ocus rig it. Haha. Anyways. Anyways, we have now covered PNG and 2D. But what about 3D? What are the benefits of 3D? I can think of a really obvious one, which is full body tracking / hand tracking being amazingly easier.
Mm-hmm.
Agility.
Yeah.
Like you could literally
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah.
That's the part that I want to get to. Eventually, I'm going to have a 3D
Mhm.
model, put it in the VR chat, and then just make very interactive videos.
Right.
Like take people with me, show them, and like there's a lot more avenues that are open when you can just do any movement,
Right.
as long as you've
Mhm.
got the tracking.
And camera angles! Camera
Yeah.
angles!
Yes.
Showing the
You can
back.
actually make a movie kind of video.
Yeah. Showing the
So
back of
you
your
can
model.
use. So
Do
you
the
can
full 360.
use. So you can use a VR chat one as like if you do your model, you can use it for both if you could
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
like VR and if you're just doing your regular tracking on your stream.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Camera movement is probably like the most enviable situation. It's like there's that one little viral video of the fox girl runs up and like throws the horns and she tries to graffiti and she sprays it in her own face and then falls down and the camera kind of like hovers over her as she rises on the ground. I'm like, wow, the things I could do.
Yeah, so that.
Yeah, so that's from Vark Shorts. That's from a program that you just drag and drop your model into.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
there's
future
also
now.
like motion data, right? You can use motion data with
Mhm.
your model. So like if you want to do like a Miku dance, you can just download the motion data and then apply it to your model. It's probably not that simple, but you know, that's what I've seen.
Well, these days it is.
What?
Yeah. If you have Boruto or Vignon, it's like really easy to convert literally any like MMD motion or just like regular motion capture things, and you just put them in the program and do it. It's gotten so easy that like within days of that like toothless dance trend starting,
Yeah.
people had it on their 3D models within like days.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So that would be really good for like shorts. Oh my gosh, wait. You don't even have to do the movement yourself. You can just. I'm envy.
I'm not sure the meme you were referring to, but I'm thinking of that. Uh-oh, you found the toothpaste.
No,
you know,
no.
that one.
It's the one where they dance to the Black Veil City, the Pokemon song.
Yeah.
Both fine options. You could put them on the same channel. Why not? They might both go viral.
And now there's programs that you don't even need to have those motion files with. They can get the motion from a video
No.
using machine learning things. So
You're bugging, dude. This is
the future is now.
The future is now.
Google Media Pipe is crazy.
And then there's
Well,
that.
I guess I don't have to learn Blender then.
There's that other app you were talking about on your channel that allows you to display your 3D model's face onto your body, which makes like stuff like cooking and instrument playing so much easier on stream.
That's Virtual Face. I just got a new app yesterday that for like it's called Odekate AR. And what it does is it puts your 3D model, it uses AR to put your model in the face space that you're in. You face your camera towards yourself so that your model's face interacts with it. And it has Google Media Pipe, so it gives it hand tracking with it. And then you can just, as you move, if you like push forward on the screen, it walks away from you. If you pull forward, it moves towards you. And it keeps at a stable distance from you. So you can do like live vlogging, walking around an environment with hand tracking and face tracking and control over like what direction you're. It's crazy. It's crazy. Don't get me started.
Dang.
Oh, because
I'd be worried about that accidentally doxing me, like losing my tracking, going on to somebody else, and boop, there I am.
Oh no, well that one's not facing you, so it's they wouldn't see you anyway. But the other one, the second that any tracking is lost, it blacks out the whole screen.
That's a good
Oh,
idea.
thank goodness.
Yeah, no.
They thought of it.
Oh.
The person who made it is a VTuber, so.
Good, good.
It's actually kind of interesting because, like, I was talking with Static recently, and I was like, I used to do before I did VTubing, I did a lot of hiking outdoors videos, and I was trying to figure out a way how to actually put myself like take like the community on for like a hike.
Mhm. And that could be a way.
That could be a
And
way.
what was that called again?
That could be a way.
The app is called Odekake AR. Sorry, I'm reading it slow because it's white on a white background on my phone.
Can you
Ode
put
Kake?
the link in Discord so I can link my audience too?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
Let
would-
me
yeah.
find it fast quick. Sadly it's iPhone only because everything relies on the IR and LiDAR abilities that the iPhone has. So I'm so sorry, Android people.
I'll just
Android.
borrow my void mates.
Yeah.
There you go.
I
Well,
mean,
just get
give me your
an
phone.
older one and have it be your tracking phone.
yeah, refurbished.
It
They all
works
speak the
perfectly on the
10.
10.
Yeah.
I still need to update my regular phone.
That's what I got. I just got a 10. 10. Or a D's, as they like to say on the front say.
Yeah. And 3D, I would also say is there anything like art-wise that I would say? I don't know. Sometimes like I feel like some things I don't know how to explain it, but some designs just look better in 3D versus 2D and vice versa. Like I think a good example is like Nintendo. I would consider stuff like Splatoon kids, they work so well in 3D. I don't know where I'm going with this, but like whereas like some Pokemon designs look horrible in 3D and they need to stay 2D. I don't know how to explain it, but it
Silhouette, maybe.
it's definitely
Yeah.
a thing. And naturally with 3D content, you get to show off more of your model, I would say.
Depth of field gags are good.
And if you look at like
the Megamind meme.
if you look at like 3D content creators that utilize their full body tracking to open their realm of physical comedy, that is like peak humor for me for some reason. I don't know why, like an anime girl like trying to dunk a basketball and falling on the floor and her tracking going nuts is peak comedy for me, but it just is. It just is.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like I know one creator like Fillion, she uses like physical slapstick as her main appeal.
Yep.
Is she the one in that clip where she gets stepped literally because she's tiny
yes
in 3D? And yes, okay, I'm
Yes.
very familiar. The algo has introduced us.
Fillion is probably the most clipped indie VTuber, even more than Shy Lily, because like literally every single moment of her streams, like love or hate her personality, she's incredibly clippable. Like incredibly, like everything she does. She'll floss.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
She knows how to make content in the 3D realm. Yeah. Really good with 3D comedies. And like there's some types of content that are just only possible with a 3D model. I would say actual like Just Dance content where you have your person dancing, stuff like Beat Saber that's only possible with a 3D model. It just opens
3D concerts.
3D concerts. You're right, and that's a huge one. That is a huge one. I'll also say it's a lot harder to get your instrument and hand tracking working in Live 2D. As someone who has that setup, I'd say that it is tempting to just like figure out how to do it in 3D because I know it's easier and it looks better, especially like in concert settings.
One single app that'll do it for you.
Yep. I've already seen the instrument app and I'm a little jelly.
They're adding new instruments constantly. We got saxophone this week. Sick.
Yeah. And
kind of cool.
Uh-huh.
I've seen a
So
lot.
so I think the 3D thing is there's innovation happening constantly.
Right. And I've even seen like VTubers small and or big and small using their 3D model in like cinematic music videos. So instead of like having to
Mm-hmm.
pay for like someone to illustrate your whole music video, you just film yourself singing in a dynamic way, and you can have a whole music video ready with no extra cost.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we totally forgot to talk about it. You can just swap outfits in 3D, especially if you use a Vroid. You can just download anything
Yeah.
from Booth and slap it on your model, and then you're wearing a whole new
Mhm.
outfit. You could have a wardrobe completely for free. That is nuts
yeah.
to
Yep.
me. I can't
Like
change.
those
Vroid
watch
is an
skins.
amazing resource.
Yeah, Vroid. I know people like to bash on Vroid in the past because its beta was a little janky. I will
Yeah,
say.
the texture, the default textures were a little rough.
They
I
were,
thought you said it's beta full stub.
but the full release, you guys need to like, you're sleeping on it. Go look at the full release. Because it's
Absolutely.
much more of an anime style for one. So if you were like, oh, I don't like the Vroid art style, the Vroid art style is dead unless you have like a beta
There
model.
is no Vroid art
Right.
style.
You can literally go from Persona to like not completely Violet
There are
Evergarden, but,
semi-realistic.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Booth, it is an online marketplace. People have things on Booth from like a few cents to like $10. And you can just like continually download new outfits for your Vroid. It is like character creation VTuber. It's like if you could turn your sim into your VTuber model, and you can just download mods. Like, it is that easy. You don't need an artistic ability to have a good looking 3D model through Vroid. Really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, speaking of Booth,
Yeah.
even though I'm going back on the 2D
No,
thing,
go ahead.
You don't. There's people that there's pre-made
Mhm.
2D models that you can
Yeah.
just legit buy for like a
Mhm.
couple bucks.
Yes.
So if you just want to start out with a 2D but you don't want to commit, you could easily just do that.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People do really well with them too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few friends that go crazy with them.
You can customize like every art mesh color wise. So like if the model isn't your skin tone like automatically, you can fix that just through VTube Studios art mesh recolor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It is wonderful. And yes, Filian is in D, for anyone in chat wondering. Oh, wow. We got through the first question, everyone.
Wow. You know,
I mean, that
one
was
thing
an
you could
in-depth
also do-
question, though.
Yeah, that was like the bread
Oh.
and butter question. I think that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
everyone is looking for when they're asking about models, is like, which one should I go for? I would basically say start with a PNG, and then depending on your content and your preference, 2D or 3D first. But like, honestly, I think most VTubers aspire to have one of each at this point.
Mhm.
Eventually.
And don't forget, the most important thing is to get your audio straightened out in the first place.
Oh!
This is all visuals.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know
Don't forget
what?
about that.
We'll have an audio roundtable, and it'll just be Ocus, because I don't know it.
We'll all sit there and go, "Oh, you're so right," as we're like actively scrambling to
Wait,
fix something.
Ocus, hold on. Can you like give a audio masterclass one of these days, please?
I suppose.
Yeah.
Like there could be like a long version and a short version. The short one will be by Go XLR or similar, and then the other one will be like downloading VTS plugins.
I think the main thing is like maybe the masterclass can be you fixing my OBS things.
Yay! Oh yeah. We'll just, yeah.
Profiting live.
Record it and make content out of it. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. It's a win-win. I get good
And
audio.
do it using 3D.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, and the other thing that like 3D VTubers can do that I'm dying to do is there's this one program that lets you draw. Like it has your character set up with like an easel and a paintbrush, and depending on where
Oh.
you put your tablet, like where your mouse goes on your tablet, it'll animate your character drawing there on the easel. It makes for like an
I've seen
immersive
that.
drawing stream. But you can use your
Like a
program.
full-on Bob Ross.
Yeah, but you can
A
use
VTuber Bob Ross. I'm gonna
Yeah.
need that.
Oh, you need an afro for that. And drawing happy little.
But-
Probably an asset on Boost.
yeah,
for
you
that.
can download
Oh,
it.
there is. I can say
See?
confidently it exists, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Wow.
But you can technically do that in most of the 3D programs too, where they have like set up like built-in tracking where it can do like a hand tracking based on your screen. Where for Live 2D you'd have to get like the asset of your hand made and then the asset rigged to the
Yeah,
screen. And I don't actually know what all goes into
hands
it.
in Live 2D are a nightmare. I just want to
Yeah.
say this for like my rigger gave me hand tracking specifically only for my instrument, and she's done like full hand tracking for herself in Live 2D, and she says I recommend this to no one, and I'm never gonna offer this to regular clients. So
There is, just to say, there is pardon the name, but PP Slayer is a VTuber who made
Yeah.
a free Live 2D hand that you can stick on any model.
Oh,
that is full
really?
hand
That's
tracking. So it's
awesome.
really nice.
oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome, man. EG with the links, man. Anyway. So that is kind of our overview. Does anyone have anything else to add about the differences?
The
To add
only-
to the drawing thing, Spud Tablet does it, and you don't have to do any like fancy rigging, and you get like a
Oh,
default
yeah.
hand. I just colored my nails all the colors, and it works.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have one of those too. You can have that regardless of what you are too, because that's a separate standalone program.
Oh,
Yep, exactly. You can use it as a PNG tuber, a 3D
Mhm.
tuber.
I gotta
Live
set
2D,
this
whatever.
up. Hold on.
Hey.
It's sick.
yo.
More links for Yam.
Taking
Spud
notes.
I'm gonna have to watch this VOD
Um,
back to remember all the things I need to download.
We need to make like a I know we have a resources thing, but we need to make like a just like give me all the programs that you use and all the assets that you
VTuber
use that do
starter
funny cool
pack.
things. Yeah.
Maybe I should
Um,
make like
I
Cover all
assume-
the bases.
Oh, I mean, I assume there's a like other than VR chat, there's places too you can get like 3D locations that you can be in with your model too. But I wonder if there aren't more people that like make their own from scratch. I know that's probably a nightmarish amount of work,
so-
but
my friend, he's made himself a few VR chat worlds, private VR chat worlds for that exact purpose. Just to film
I'm
videos.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm making one in Vignon's format right now for myself.
Yeah.
If you know how to make one for VR chat, you can very easily make one for the other like 3D streaming resources, so you can do it offline.
Mm.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Oh, but if you do
There's a lot
it
of
in
tutorials
VR
for it.
chat, then you can have collabs, TM.
That's true.
That is also true.
Yeah.
Have you do you know Icel?
Yes,
She does really good VR worlds.
absolutely. I love Icebell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cloud9, and she films like little music videos too. It's a
Mhm.
whole. You can make a whole world though. That's the fun
Yeah.
thing about
Yeah.
those 3Ds.
3D looks like a lot of fun. I just,
So
expensive.
much power, you know.
Expensive if you want like custom Beyond V-Roid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you know what they say? The sunk cost fallacy works.
Is that what they say?
That's what Okin
in,
says
in
apparently.
for a pound.
But I think what it comes to here is if you want 3D versus 2D, it's versatility versus control.
Ooh, I
thing.
like that. I like that. Yeah.
You want to be a
Versatility
Gandalf or you want to be a
versus
Sauron?
control. You should write that down for
That
your
was just for you,
your
Yam.
video. Yes,
I'm quoting it from the video.
you're quoting it from the video. We got a special sneak peek, everyone.
Yo.
All right. So yes, there is the question, TM. Let's go to the next question.
One
What is the
down.
question? What is it?
It is, what are the differences in tech requirements and computer demand between PNG, 2D, and 3D? We kind of already answered this.
Yeah.
But to recap, PNG is the lightest on your computer. 2D, if optimized, is kind of in the middle ground. And then I'm assuming 3D in most setups is going to be the most demanding. But what do you think, EG?
Yeah, unless you've got something low poly or like a super stylized model, yeah, usually it's gonna be a little heavier, sadly.
You need a pretty good graphics card, I assume, right?
Not necessarily any better
Oh.
than Live 2D.
Oh, okay.
Processor should be
Impressive.
beefy though.
Yeah, some people run two
Mhm.
PCs, that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is crazy. A
That
dual PC
sounds,
setup
that
as well.
sounds... You got your own
Mhm.
Yeah, I
server
got a friend who
room
does
just,
that.
just to run your...
Mm.
Run your...
I get throttled
know
by
how she
RAM
does it.
before anything else. So
Yeah,
Oh.
let that be a note also.
yeah.
You need
Honestly,
just a lot of it, or does it have to be super fast, like DDR5 as?
I just don't have enough. Like I have
Okay.
64 gigabytes of RAM. And
That's not enough.
No,
That's
but
not
I'm
enough?
doing-
Oh,
I'm
no.
doing a lot, unfortunately.
I've got
I will warn
16
the
gigs. I got 16
That's
gigs
how
of
I
RAM.
32.
Oh, so that does really put it in perspective for me. Yeah, like if
Yeah.
I were
I
to
got
try and
32.
stream, if I had any less than what I had now, I don't think it would work. I think that my
Alright then.
computer would totally lock up. So
What kind
I guess
of-
3D beware.
Yeah.
Am I the most
Okay.
optimized? No, but I'm not bad. My model is like a very mid weight model. So
What
maybe
kind of-
disclaimer.
Do you need like is it
Jeez.
like a big process? Do you get like one of them thread rippers or something, or is it like can you get by with an i7 or something of the sort?
You can get by with an i7, and like my
Okay.
old graphics card that I had was fine. I have recently upgraded to a much crazier graphics card because I thought that's what was throttling me, and it was
Oh.
like my old graphics card was barely the limiting factor, and it turns out that the
Oh.
RAM was far more the limiting factor. Much
Oh,
more
no.
affordable upgrade could have saved me.
Oh gosh.
Well, now you have two graphics cards, so you can hook up to like 8 monitors at once.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't both fit in the computer at the same time.
Who need a bigger computer?
My PC hasn't had any issues with Live 2D. I have 16 gigs of RAM, an i7 processor, and a 1080 GTX NVIDIA card, graphics card. And like the only thing that it chugs for is like saving on Photoshop. When I have like 1,000 layers. But like,
How do you edit videos?
how do I
you render
edit videos?
Yeah.
Oh, hi Licorice. Everyone go follow Licorice too. Sorry you can't join. But but like it's not a problem. I don't know what to tell you. I don't do any transitions or anything. Like if I added like fancy transitions or like emotion graphics, I would die. But it's everything just snaps into place because I just drag and drop like layered footage in, and that's it. That
sounds nice.
Oh man.
I should
wish
edit
I
on a reasonable like scale of labor one day.
If
Someday.
I could hire an editor, you guys would get like fancy stuff, but nope. We are doing bare bones.
Fair.
That's all I can.
I did just think that the only part of Live 2D that really requires halfway decent computing is like exporting the model when it's done rigging, because
Oh.
I used to have a mere 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then
Oh,
you know
no. Is
like all the fans kicked in at once, and I heard like ghastly wailing as though from a tenebrous depth, and I said,
your PC is taking off and getting ready to
That's not great.
It's launching in this outer space.
I got up to 32 gigs, and it only filled up like 98% of the way. So at that point, it ran a lot smoother. But you know,
yeah, I remember.
killed my-
faster RAM is better for this.
I see. I see.
My model killed my rigger's computer.
Oh no!
I'm responsible for the death of a
Well,
computer.
honestly, your
Hey,
hair,
that's
your
great.
hair alone would kill my computer.
I drew myself
I will
in
say-
like 8 to 16K. That's kind of what did it.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
Oh!
I
real.
forgot you can do
Oh.
different resolutions.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thankfully, my computer will do it. Takes forever, to your point, but it did
Yeah.
not die like her computer did.
I see.
Yes.
So I will say, I guess that is probably going to put you in a proportion similar to 3D, because this 3D Vroids, I could run on my laptop. I had a Surface Pro laptop from 2017, and I could run that on it, and it was okay.
So I guess
But
our
think-
conclusion is less so about the medium you choose and more so about the complexity of your model. Apparently, really,
Level of
Yeah.
detail.
the
And
model
resolution.
file.
That's the big
The
one for 2D.
resolution.
Mhm.
That's the big one.
And 3D
I
too.
forgot. Yeah.
3D, your texture resolution's the same deal.
I see. That puts
Ah,
things into perspective. I didn't
know.
even think about that.
I didn't even think about all that.
Yeah.
Man. It's
And
crazy.
thankfully, Live 2D has a kind of like a reduction option.
Yeah.
So what I've started to do is like half my resolution. That way, whenever I do a Live
Yeah.
2D collab, I'm not murdering everybody else's computers.
Ooh.
Oh
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, yo.
Yeah.
I forget, man,
Oh.
that is when you live 2D collab, the ease of just plopping yourself into there is really nice, but you
Yeah,
gotta be careful,
you
I guess,
gotta
with
be-
that. Where with
I
3D,
didn't
there's
even
more
think
that
of
it
that.
takes.
Yeah, I could make a low res version for collabs. I never even thought of that.
Well,
Like,
Oh,
we
I didn't think
export
about
it.
that either.
luckily, Ogus,
Oh.
with my potato PC, you still haven't broken it, so I think you're fine.
Mm-mm-mm.
But like with PNG, I want to say that I have a lot of people in my audience who are like, "What do I do, Yam? I don't have a PC, but I really want to be a VTuber." I ask them, "Do you have a smartphone? And can you download the software, the editing software CapCut?" Okay, you can be a VTuber. If you can do those two things, because if you have a PNG, if you just download a PNG onto your phone, then you open your editing software CapCut, that can be your recording, and then you drop your PNG into CapCut, and you can export videos as a VTuber, as a PNG tuber, and you don't even need a PC.
CapCut's amazing.
CapCut is
What
amazing.
is there's an app called, what is it, Prism, I think? Mariume did a sponsored review of it, where you can PNG tube from your phone, and it streams
Oh,
to Twitch,
yeah.
it streams to YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you upload your just like two like VTuber images right inside the app, and it takes care of all of it for you.
Yep.
What
Just
was
Android
Right.
and iPhone.
Right. I think honestly, PNG wins for both the most versatile and the most like easy, like
Cost effective.
cost effective
Mhm.
and tech light.
Merciful to your hardware.
Merciful to
yeah.
But you gotta be a little more creative with like how to retain people's view when you're a PNG tuber. You have to have something else
Art from
going on the
adversity.
screen. Whereas, oh gosh, no one get upset when I say this, but like whereas if you are a just chatting VTuber, you might want to have some more motion going on.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I know that firsthand because I have a Jello Light 2D model where it's me, but I'm a Jello slime thing.
Uh-huh.
So, and I switch to that every time I do jetting because it's like it jiggles around and stuff. 'Cause I
Yeah.
know my audience, their retention is crazy, bro. It's like
You gotta jingle the keys for
Subway
him a little
Surfer.
bit.
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta jiggle around a little bit.
I remember as a PNG tuber, I was always worried of going silent for even 10 seconds because my audience would think the stream stopped.
Oh.
Golly. I
Yeah.
never even thought of that.
Yeah. So that's kind of you can circumvent this with free animated backgrounds, you
Yeah, I
know.
was gonna say
um,
background animation.
Oh my
Can
gosh.
you record that one
the-
game where you slide down the pipe that everyone uses on those like chatting YouTube screens, you know?
Yeah, Subway Surfers or something. Come on.
Yeah.
Quick sand.
Yeah, little Minecraft parkour in the background.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. You know what? I should keep the BGM off just in case I want to edit this. Never mind. I was like, no, the BGM's been off this whole time, and then I realized actually maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe for the
Nice.
better.
Yeah, bring your own BGM. You guys
Yep.
can put your own music on in the background.
Play some tunes ahead.
Yeah. Sing a song to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of like tech requirements. 3D can be the most, unless your 2D is really complex, but 3D and 2D need beef PC, if you've got complex models.
BVPC.
And then PNG is pretty much any iPhone, any smartphone or PC can handle a PNG. You just gotta get creative with its use. Okay, next question. What is the best model for someone to get on a budget? I think we also covered this, but there's budget
Yeah.
options for everything. Let me reiterate. There's budget options for literally every medium of a VTuber model.
Mhm.
Can I do a quick shout out for one?
Yes.
Fua VTuber on Etsy. I know in general avoid Etsy, but this individual does a ton of custom ones. And I actually have a custom chibi model that I use, and their stuff is amazing. It was like $40.
Oh.
Wow.
No joke.
Wow. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so for PNG, the budget-free option is a pick crew. You just have to make sure that you credit the pick crew artist. EG has an entire video on how to pick crew yourself a PNG tuber. And it also has a huge database of the pick crews that work for PNG tubing. Which is awesome. I've used it several times. And then for 3D, we would say like either free models on Booth or Vroid would be your best option, and that has a bunch of free accessories on Booth as well. Like you can have completely free outfits. And then for live 2D, the budget option is limited. It is basically only the free or pay to use models that people make specifically. Like they have to make a specific model, and then you have some customizable options depending on how they've set it up. So yeah, everyone has budget options.
And obviously, if you like have a lot of free time or you're already good at art, you could do it all yourself.
Yeah,
So-
that is very true. The budget budget option is the skills you have, right?
The
Oh,
budget
God, one
option
thing
is
you're paying with
time
is
instead of
time.
money.
Yes.
Mhm.
And sanity.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
that's pretty fungible.
We all sound like we're
There's
doing
a-
very
I went
mentally
insane.
well for our decisions.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
we're all fine. We're
more-
not crazy. You're crazy.
There's so many more at least live 2D tutorials now than there and they're much more
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
comprehensive. So
Mhm.
the fast list, and someone just asked me this like recently, but it's like Kira Omori, Yoshino
Yes.
Art, Cutie Dragon.
Yeah.
Kappa.
Those three are the
yeah.
big ones.
My live 2D tutorial was begging people on Discord to help me. I
Begging.
started live 2D right when the Iron Vertex server got added, and I literally added Brian Sway himself, saying, "Hey, can you help me with this model?" And he did. And now that sounds so
Aiden and
wild.
friends are raiding the Bat
No!
colony.
Oh, thank you for the raid.
But that's like so cool though.
yeah.
It's okay. Back in the early days, I hassled Kira Omori for information.
Yeah.
Dang.
Right.
I didn't even know they
That's
were
so
like. I didn't know they were getting coins from Cubism and stuff. I was just like, "Oh, hey, you're that person. Yeah, do you know how this works?" Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Kudzu as well has a good customizable.
Ah, yeah.
There you go.
Customizable live 2D models have come a long way. Honestly,
Yeah.
the interesting thing about doing a VTuber roundtable like this is I feel like we're gonna have to do another episode exactly like this a year from now because everything changes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Free
it's gonna be
content.
vastly
Gosh.
different in a
It's
year,
free
bro.
real
It's
estate.
gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Even
You can't get rid of us.
even videos on what model should you pick from last year are outdated because the things that
Mm-hmm.
3D VTubers could do was more limited in terms of like features. Like I remember when eye jiggling came to 3D, like the eye physics.
Yeah, it's still not super like integrated at this point yet. We're
Yeah.
still in the
Oh, we
early
have the
days.
lean forward now too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the leaning is crazy.
Oh,
the leaning
I
is
saw
3D's
that.
following now
wild,
too,
bro.
yeah.
Right.
We're getting the
3D.
lean meta.
Yeah, so it's like the interesting thing is I feel like a lot of people's decisions are based on like just what is most accessible to them at the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
I chose live 2D because that was what I could do as an artist. Like I don't know 3D.
Yeah.
But if I was a 3D modeler, I would have chose 3D cuz
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. But like if you're someone who's commissioning and you have the options in front of you, I would actually recommend you make a PNG, live 2D and 3D at the beginning and just see what you like and what your PC can handle. Because getting
The money towards
I will say
Mega
a
Wave
high
3.
end.
Balling.
A high end of either will cost you about the same for a 3D and a 2D these
That
days,
is
which
true.
is nice. 3D finally is making the money they deserve.
Right? Oh my gosh.
They were underselling for years, so
Right. Yeah. Okay. I feel like we answered those questions pretty well. Here's an unrelated question that I think everyone, artist or not, can answer. We have, do you think the quality of a VTuber's model plays a part in their success? And if so, how much?
eh.
Hell no.
Yeah. I think it's kind of one of those like saturation things where like maybe a few years ago it mattered more because it would help you stand out a lot more, but nowadays even the most amazing model is just going to be like one of 18 amazing models that people see all the time, right? So it's
Say that I think it still does play a part because I mean, if you're going to put out something and you know that you're putting out something just to try to, if it looks, I hate to say it, if it looks like absolute shit and looks like you just did it just to slap shit together, then I think that does, you know what I mean? It's not not like a scuff model, but something you know you did not put a lot of effort into, and you're just trying to say, "I'm going to make the monies," you know.
Yeah. I think what.
But I think it kind of reflects on the content, you know.
That's
I think
true.
so too. Yeah, I think it's a lot of it.
If you have skills and if you have the skills to be a streamer or content creator in some other way, at the end of the day, it's not. People are going to come and stay for the personality, not for what you look like. Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, the fact
Often.
that my favorite streamer doesn't even represent himself on screen with anything. He's a completely faceless streamer.
Me too.
Just shows that you don't even. I hate to say it, but the model is just for branding. It can be integrated in your content like how Fillion does. And I feel like having a VTuber model can help you brainstorm content and lead you in a direction, but I think at the end of the day, it is branding. It is a window dressing. Like, good branding can help people be attracted to your channel, but it doesn't get people to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had the personality of a cardboard box, I mean,
That's
Ouch.
but I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, like, if you don't have, if, and that's not to say that like you're always stuck that way, but I mean, again, it comes back to you got to put effort into it, and no matter what it is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And one thing I would say is like using history as an example. I rebranded from a Gorgon. I mentioned that a little bit earlier, but I wasn't happy, and I was that for wrong reasons. I thought, oh, hey, to be successful as a VTuber, I have to, apply to a certain demographic or, something like that, and be, I'm not going to mention all the words, but try and draw in all the thirsty crowd, I suppose. So I went that route, and I was trying to play a part all the time, and that wasn't me. I hated it. But now that I've switched over to something that I really like, I'm finding more success because I'm happier. It's not so much that the audience is connecting so much with this one versus that one. I think it's just I'm able to be myself more.
I can attest
If
to
you show
that.
your passion. Yeah, if you show your passion, then that's what I always tell everybody is if you're passionate about what you're doing, people will come. So if it's something you're just doing because just to do the strokes of it, like say you're not a FPS player and it's obvious that you're not having fun, people aren't going to stick around.
Yeah. And I have like the identical story to Pandora. But I think I've learned over time that the VTuber model is a lot more for you and like increasing your amount of fun than anything else. Like I think we all just want to play a character and that's like the part of the fun for us, but like if I think if I didn't have a model on screen, people would still watch my videos. I did an experiment actually. I did a like out of the blue, I randomly used a PNG in one of my videos, and it is one of my highest performing videos anyways, even though I didn't even have my live 2D going. I just used my PNG. The reason I used my PNG was because, my rigger was still working on my model, so I was like, what if I just use my PNG for an entire video? Will it be like, will anyone comment? Will anyone like notice? And like no one really commented or noticed. There was one person who called me lazy, but that was it. Like
Oh.
Whoa.
out of the
Okay.
the
If
10
that's the worst insult you get on the internet, that's pretty good.
I know, right? I'm like really fortunate because the people who leave hate comments on my video mostly attack my bat features, and that's it. And I'm just like, haha. If that's the worst you can do, then I'm doing great.
Well, screw them, you're cute.
Aw, thanks. Yeah, so I would say that proved to me that the fact that I still got like a huge number of views on that video despite being a PNG tuber, the model being rigged doesn't affect the people who are going to come and watch my videos. Though I will say, branding can give you a good direction in your own like videos. It can inspire you to pick a certain BGM or cover a certain topic or play a certain video game, and the audience is gonna like cohesion. Like,
yeah,
if you are talking about eldritch horrors and you like reading creepypastas and that's like your bread and butter content, representing yourself with like a monstrous design is going to attract more people to you. And I think thinking about your branding more than having a high quality model is going to help you in the long run.
I model as a cherry on top of all the other things you've going on in personality and planning and all of that other stuff. Model is the cherry on top. It's great to have. It's lovely.
Yeah.
But you got to get that base. You got to have the basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you
Like, I
can spend
would
20K on a model, but like she said, be a cardboard box in personality and not get anywhere.
True. Legit. Like, even now, like, as my videos are, like, I'm doing more and more, I'm noticing that, like, I'm barely on the screen as much anymore. It's just edit after edit after edit after edit. And I'm like, but my videos are performing fine in my standards. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it doesn't matter as much. If anything, I'm really just using the model or the PNG on streams. I could probably just talk to a black screen and just put edits throughout the whole video and be fine.
Yep.
Probably.
Especially your editing style. It is gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, a lot of work, but definitely worth the payoff.
a lot of sleepless nights, but I'm cool. I'm fine. I'm not sleep deprived at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we need a hydrate
Yeah.
redeem right now? Everybody take care of
Yeah,
yourselves,
yeah.
please.
Hydrate. Here we go.
That one scene in Oshinoko where he's slumped over and dying from editing is the most accurate depiction of any profession. in the history of
Oshinoko.
video.
I haven't seen the anime, but Oshinoko, the manga, spoke to me as a content creator.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But still, all this rigging stuff is a lot easier than figuring out 3-point lighting.
Don't even get me
Uh-huh.
on that as a photographer.
Oh. You know, I haven't even thought about people who are weighing between showing their faces and like having like nice cameras to capture their
Oh,
face versus-
cam.
I haven't even thought of that because that never crossed my mind. I was either gonna be a faceless creator or I was gonna represent myself with a character. I've never I've never been one to put myself out there on the internet. So
But
I
you
was
know
a flesh
what?
tuber once.
But you know what? I think the same thing holds true. Hopefully for the same thing. I know that unfortunately, when we start getting to face cam, we start getting a little bit more into like
appearance,
the like sexism and appearance
Yeah.
part, where there are so many
Yeah.
male streamers who can get away with not really putting any effort into their face cam and sitting in a like dimly lit
Mhm.
room
yeah.
and looking a little bit slug-esque, but God forbid the girl does not put on her 20-step skincare routine in
Right.
the world.
Right?
So
But
I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of one of the reasons why I went to VTuber, because I got sick of putting
Mhm.
on like makeup every time I.
That's why K-Son started. That's why
Absolutely.
Kiryu Coco,
Yeah.
the man, the myth, the legend, started VTubing was because she was tired of doing her makeup and cosplay every time.
Yeah,
Mhm. It's a lot of
takes a-
work.
And that's
Set it up.
probably too, then, you know,
yes.
In the long run, yeah.
rigging a live 2D model is cheaper than 2 years worth of makeup, probably, right? You know?
Oh, for
I
sure.
would-
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
There you go.
depends if what you're getting too. And I mean, you like, I used to do cosplay and stuff, and like basically using stage makeup and stuff. And a lot of these
Oh
girls
yeah,
are
because
using
you would for screen.
a lot of girls are using the stage makeup, but that stuff's expensive as hell.
Mhm.
Or even like the vegan stuff is like very, very expensive, and it's like, yeah,
Oh,
How,
need to
how
scrub your
expensive
face
is
off.
clown makeup?
Mara brings up a
Probably.
really good point. Like you still have to pay for lighting for face tracking, especially if you're darker skinned. The
Bro,
trackers
don't even get me started.
still
bro.
have
Don't
an
even get me
issue
started, bro.
with
Holy,
darker
oh my god.
darker complexions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will
used my
say-
phone flashlight one time. That shit was ass.
Oh gosh.
Blinding myself, burning my retinas. It was crazy.
Yeah, and the face tracking is really bad with certain things. So like if you have a beard or any facial hair,
Oh,
I was trying to
man.
help somebody set up virtual face recently
Glasses.
with like facial hair, and it was like was not registering mouth movements like at all.
Mhm.
It's so yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
So I use two different cameras. I use the flagship Logitech, the C920, for like my regular tracking. I've used it for years. It's really good. But I recently picked up the Razer Kio Pro for my hand streams, and it does extremely well on low light stuff. The difference is insane. I highly
Ooh.
suggest that camera.
Oh, and someone
Taking notes.
also brought up face tracking with glasses. This is a problem I'm still having. If you see in my last video, I look sleepy. It's because of the angle of my glasses matched up with the angle of my top lid, and then I was looking up, so my eyes were half masked
Yeah.
because it was thinking the top of my glasses was my eyelid.
Mine does the opposite. Mine makes me wide-eyed all the time. I don't know if you've ever seen my videos. I look a little like crazy sometimes. Where I'll have I won't blink for a long time. It'll look like I'm not blinking, and it'll look like I'm like at full max eye width, and it's because it's reading the upper like rim of my glasses as my upper
Oh.
eyelid.
I guess it depends on like what shape of glasses you have. I didn't even think
Yeah,
about
like what
that.
color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, one of my eyeballs just twitches, and it's like I'm being held captive, but secretly trying to send an SOS signal to my viewers to come save me. So
Oh, Mike Huber
Oh, no.
asks, gonna ask about beards. So depends on the tracking you're using. iPhone ARKit actually tracks where your jaw is, and that makes having a beard a bit rough. But if you go with like what is it, Nvidia's tracking and VBridger, like their formula is based on your actual mouth. So you can get around it. You just have to do your research. But having a beard itself just kind of narrows your issue, your options, but it doesn't necessarily make it impossible to VTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Same could be said for like eyebrow and like eye tracking if you've bangs. I know a lot of people wear headbands when they record or stream.
Yeah.
That must look so determined, like a studying montage in an anime.
Yeah, bro. I gotta tie my hair back every time if I decide to use the Jello model.
Though I will say it also there's creative workarounds from with tracking, like if your eyeball tracking just isn't working, you can set it to auto blink and then just have your eyeballs set to follow your mouse instead, and you can make it look totally normal that way.
Oh, wow.
That is true.
Like you can work around. Same with like, oh, like I'm not moving back and forth around enough, like this motion, you can set that to your mouse so that you're leaning with your mouse depending on like if you're doing a certain game. That can look really good. Same with mouth at this point. You can have it set to your microphone instead of your actual mouth. There's workarounds. So like if the reason you're worried about starting VTubing is because like your situation makes it hard for tracking to work, you can find workarounds, and the ultimate workaround is PNG tubing, but yeah. Yeah, I wear something to keep my hair out of my face, push my glasses all the way up my nose, and make sure my glasses are fully clean, or else I will just go crazy. I'll stream it and even... Yep. But then you also gotta
And we're
remember...
all sitting in velvet rooms.
You also gotta remember when you're streaming, people aren't like always looking at your face, and you're definitely like if you're playing a game, you're like small in the corner. That's why I'm not even worried about it too much. I think I've definitely like calmed down. When you first start, you're like so afraid of being perceived, but as you go, you kind of calm down. And if you want to feel better, just look at like 2016 era Hololive, and remember people still watched them then. Yep.
That's true.
Well, look at Hoshimachi Suisei's first model and tracking. And then you're gonna feel like people still supported them then. And people are gonna still support you now as long as you have content that is worth watching and you're having a good time. Yeah.
Yep.
My most viewed video by a huge margin is
it
the
the male
only one
VTuber
that
one?
uses my and it's the only one I used with my first version model that is face rig and terrible
It's
and all
so
screwed
good.
up.
It's good.
It blinks randomly. It doesn't track half of my things right. It blinks asymmetrically. I look so unintelligent.
Frog blink.
Yeah.
It proves the point you're making in the video even more.
Yeah, in a way. I really wanted to wait until I had a good model, but I was like, it could take a year. So I just went for it. So it kind of worked out.
I mean, that was the same thing with me, Oak, is I had only rigged my eyeballs and my mouth to move on Yam before doing my census video, and that was the one I blew up, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
Me blow up now? When my model isn't even working? So yeah.
So here's the moral: just do it. Just start.
Yeah.
Yep, just start.
Just do it.
Even
Make
if you-
your
Hit that
dreams
record
come
button.
true.
Yep.
Hit that start live button.
You're gonna
This is your motivational speech.
you're gonna be less scared come year 4. You're not gonna necessarily be better if you're anything like me. I'm still scuffed, but I'm less scared, so that's good.
Scuff can become part of your brand.
Yeah.
We've
I think
coined
it's
the
good for your
term fat
sanity to work
brain.
that in.
Yeah.
I think a good lesson is we can start small and we can get big. The people you're watching now have probably been at it for a year, 2 years, so on and so
Mhm.
forth, and they've probably had upgrades. What you're seeing now isn't how
Mhm.
they started, and you're trying to get yourself to start at that level. That's too much.
Yes.
Just start where you can. Do what you can and just hit record.
Both.
Yeah, I saw really like interesting. It was like a guess like the baby photo almost like VTuber stream
Oh.
where they were looking at people's like first models. I thought that was really clever, and it was like looking at like people who are really big now and seeing how like crazy their redesign has been, or their like semi-default beta Vroid model from like
Oh,
2017,
yeah.
2018.
Have you seen Puff Puff's original model? It's incredible.
Have you seen Iron
Yeah,
it's like
Mouse's
a Pokemon
original
evolution.
model?
Oh yeah.
Who's?
Iron
Or
Mouse.
like we can do like Girl DM's original,
yeah.
or like
Yeah. Shy
Eye
Lily.
Candy.
Shy Lily started
Shy
as
Lily,
a
yeah.
V-Roid. Girl DM started as a V-Roid. Like, yeah. Chances are everyone started somewhere, and it wasn't at the $4,000
nearly where it is now.
model.
It wasn't in the $7,000 range, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mouse has paid $28,000 for one model before.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Fuck all that, bro.
Shy Lily's
Yeah.
twin tail model was 8,000.
Yeah.
Yep. I see a lot of people like upset at the riggers for like the illustrators and riggers for charging that much, but then I just want to plop those people into the life of a professional artist for one day and tell me
Yeah.
that
Yeah, bro,
that's
pick up a
not
pencil.
worth
Yeah, I mean, it makes more sense
Yeah.
too if your clients can pay, like
Well,
it kind of makes sense to charge less for a really someone who's starting out if you're gonna scale it a bit, because they're probably not gonna make that much money doing it. So it's like,
the other thing is the thing that I want people to understand about like being an artist is you want to make sure your client doesn't just drop it immediately. When I charged around $100 for my models, every single VTuber that bought from me never debuted. I made
Oh, dude.
Wow.
I made 6 models that never saw the light of day.
That's where I am right now. I have a bunch of models that I am still like locked and can't show, but it's because they haven't debuted, and I don't think they ever will.
Right? I am.
And it's frustrating.
It is very
When
frustrating.
I get money, I'm
So
commissioning
sad.
both of y'all.
Aww.
So
Thanks.
here's the thing around that. Charging an NDA.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. I did charge an NDA for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I guess people just throw money to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot actually, because a lot of the artists I've commissioned, like I've seen like their portfolio of just all these other things they've done for barely any of them.
If you look
really
at
been
my
used in
portfolio,
anything.
you're gonna be like, none of these VTubers exist except for Lasso Katsuni and Kana Imeru. Those are the two ones that still exist. But like out of
Wait, you
my
made her model?
yeah, well, not like I
They're
didn't
gonna think you're a GFX
didn't-
bot.
not I designed her model, and you know what is it called? Darn it. The adult Kana. Adult Kana is mine, yeah. But the small ones I didn't do. But anyways, like when I started charging more, I only got serious clientele who have actually like followed through and done things.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was only charging 100, people never actually got to debut. And all my clientele, after I've charged 1,000 per model, have actually come to me after they started making content. Whereas all of my clientele, when I was only charging 100, they were making it as their like first model.
Impulse purchase.
Like, I'm gonna become a VTuber. It's only $100 to become a VTuber. And I was way undercharging. Please don't undercharge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I will
Like
say
buying
that is
pack of
the
Mentos at the grocery store. You don't need them, but you kind of want them in the moment.
Right.
yeah. Gotta recall that an $8,000 model is probably a model that was the sole source of income for that artist and or rigger
For
whatever that time
Like
period
a
was.
month or more.
3
yeah.
months.
And then taxes. If you taxes, if you are a sole proprietor or an LLC, you are going to be paying almost half of what you made in that model in taxes. So keep that in mind. Ugh.
I still never paid taxes before.
Oh,
Bro, I just turned 19.
Yeah,
I'm
Toki,
not.
Toki.
Oh, I was about ready to say Uncle Sam this one here.
No,
The way that we all got
turned 19.
scared.
This is YouTube is my first job ever. I've never
Vertical
done
stream
anything
from
else.
jail.
I'm like, Static, don't admit to committing tax evasion.
I'm not committing tax fraud. I've never worked a job before.
There's a lot of
This is
free
YouTube
resources
is the
now.
first what is it? W2, W9, whatever the fuck,
It
whatever that form is called.
It depends, yeah.
Depends.
YouTube does send a W-2, I will tell you that much.
That was the first time I ever filled out a
capital
tax
gains
form.
you may have, like give me. I don't know if you have a stock portfolio, but
They did update the tax stuff recently, by the way. In some places, sending a 1099 until you make a like a higher threshold than 600.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where I
Set
live,
that
you have to
aside.
make 6,000 in order to get the 1099.
Yeah.
So that
this is now VTuber tax advice.
Well, next
We'll be,
next
we'll be
time on
helping you with your
VTuber
audit.
RoundTable, let's talk about taxes.
Well, it
I
is
will
going to
be
be
here
April.
and just soak information.
Oh, topical.
Topical.
Static is broadcasting from jail.
Bro,
Here's
I
what
never
happens
had
when
to.
you
The model with the
What?
pinstripe suit.
Tax
Static's gonna show up with a notebook and take notes the whole time.
April
Yeah,
15th.
I'll just have my journal ready.
Yep. Don't worry. I'd already did that stuff, and it made me realize just how disorganized I was as a creator. I had to look back at my business PayPal, and that was like the only info I had. Like it was.
Bro,
it
you
was
gotta get up
scary.
on that Excel spreadsheet. Actually,
Yeah, gotta stay organized.
I'm gonna do it this year so that my life is not.
paying quarterlies.
I cried. I actually
Mhm.
So
VTuber creator
here's,
Discord in tears, like someone help me, and I got
here's
help.
something interesting for California. If you make under 28,000 a year, you don't pay quarterlies. You can pay it at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That might depend.
That's California.
Federally, it depends on whether you're an LLC or a sole proprietor? Sole.
Yep, so prop.
Yeah.
I just tell them I made it selling drugs.
That might go.
You have to
that
legally
might be
claim if you sell drugs,
easier.
though. IRS said so.
Might be easier to file, and honestly, the amount of like, okay, now it's YouTube's turn. Okay, now it's Twitch's turn. Okay, now it's our commission's turn. Okay, now it's my freelance turn.
Mhm.
Totally off topic. I'm so sorry. All right, so
The plights of VTubing. Taxes.
Is there a tax advisor VTuber out there?
Probably.
Get
there's a
them.
lawyer VTuber. Let's see. We have gotten through all the questions I had for us, so now we can move on to the
Yay.
fan submitted questions.
Nice.
The first one is not a question. Starting off strong. But
I need help with my taxes.
it is just a kind of information dump that I wanted to include in this for anyone who is like coming here to learn. So I'm just gonna read this out loud and then say, "Wow, how cool!" This person submitted this. Have you heard of Inochi 2D? It is an open source
Yeah.
alternative to Live 2D, which can be found on itch.io and GitHub. The one on itch.io is $20 with no subscription, and you can get an unlimited evaluation version with a nag message like when Roar on GitHub. Or if you're tech savvy, it's permitted to compile yourself. The source code is freely available. It's still young, started 2 to 3 years ago, but The community's Discord server is growing quite rapidly. It's a good alternative for Linux users on which Live 2D Cubism and VTube Studio are not available natively. Now, shameless self-promo, inside Inochi ecosystem, you can also get a mannequin character generator, which has a free version, or can be had for $20 on itch.io or Steam. It's basically one of those customizable Live 2D VTuber models, just with extra steps. I'll be happy to hear your opinion about it. Blah, blah, blah. So basically,
We
The open
love
source
open source.
nerds are
Open
getting in on it.
source.
Oh my god.
Inochi.
Yes.
It's gonna change everything.
Check out Inochi, especially if you need a practice rigging. I know that like Live 2D has a free trial, and I have been that VTuber getting my rigging in the free trial, baby. I have been there. My first rig was with the free trial, and then the second rig was under a new free trial. Don't tell Cubism. I'm sorry. I'm
Shh, we keep hush. We keep
Ma'am,
hush. We keep
how
Oh,
many
hush.
the
emails do you
IRS and now
Ma'am,
Live 2D. You're gonna be
I
after
have
us.
10 emails. Somebody help. I need to stop rebranding.
And you said you're not organized? I couldn't keep track of all my false identities for scoring sample keys and stuff.
So we have tax fraud and false identities.
Yep. So yeah, that is the first question.
Christ.
Inochi, I have nothing more to add. Just check it out. Always
Um,
good to know what's
It's interesting,
available.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't know how it works.
Excuse me, I'm gonna
but-
go compile my source code to get an open source version of Live 2D.
Follow
My
the
mom says I'm
creator
the
on
coolest
Twitter.
guy.
They're cool.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm actually interested in doing it. I'm just exaggerating how cool I'm going to sound.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so
I
the
did learn
next
how to
one
compile,
is
so.
a specific Live 2D question. It is a few questions about Live 2D. The first one is, before you use Live 2D, how many projects should you have lined up for rigging for the free trial not to be wasted? We just talked about this.
You'll be lucky if you get one
Right? Yeah.
because you will not know what you're doing. Take a lot of trial and error.
It's a blind panic to the finish line. Only
I barely got Ocus 1.0 done in the 40-day window.
Head turned done soon.
Live 2D is really
Benefit of 2D or 3D. Blender's free
Oh!
now and forever.
nice.
I can't believe I forgot this.
And there's also more tutorials on Blender. I think even today,
It's been around a long
Potentially.
time. Though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next question is, I'm wondering how the creation of toggle/outfit variations work, and how far you'd cut an item or draw them so that it doesn't look strange. I can answer both of these questions as an illustrator. So, the best way to handle this is to make yourself a nude base underneath your clothes. You can delete it during the actual rigging phase, but you should have a nude base so that you can have multiple outfits drawn. And then it is a matter of opacity. So you can have a toggle that lowers the opacity of an item. It's really easy to do. You just make one new parameter, one being 100% visible and 0 being 100% or sorry 0% visible. I can demonstrate it right here. I take my glasses off and you can see the transition between glasses on and off is just the opacity going down. My glasses are still technically on my rig the entire time. You just can't see them. Same with my shawl. These toggles, like my wings here, are a little trickier. I don't know how those are done. This is the kind of toggle I don't know how to do. But my rigger got it.
I think it's a combination of opacity and some animation keyframes.
I
You can
see.
get clever with it.
I see.
Yeah.
But that's basically how toggles work. As for how much you need to cut, is you need to know how much motion is going to occur on that part. So things like the head is going to move the most, so it's going to need the most parts. Whereas my feet are all one layer, because they don't move. And I knew they weren't going to move. So you have to think about the motion beforehand. My feet are one piece completely. My pants are 4 pieces minus the ruffles. The ruffles are individual, but my head is the majority of the layers. So yeah, the more something's gonna move and the more it's gonna need to transform, the more layers you should provide. And when in doubt, keep it separate. You can always glue things back together in Live 2D, but everything needs to be completely separate. Like, I probably, you know, my rigger had to merge a few things of mine because I kept everything separate, like including line art, because I never know what she's gonna want separate, because it really depends on the rigger and how they do things. So yeah.
Better to over prepare though, I think.
Yeah, so that no one has to cut things for you. Oh gosh.
Yeah. I think the only line art I usually specifically like separate is like the chin, just because there's like shadows and stuff that you'll want to move around, and that way if the line is separate, you can work around that a lot easier. But I'm sure there's a million and one ways everyone does it.
Yeah, I have a friend who does rigging and art, and he was saying, "Oh, if you want to have your boobas move, pretty much make sure to draw a third boob, like Total Recall."
Yes, yeah.
Huh?
Honestly,
Third boob.
Yeah.
For bounce physics or something else?
For the turning of the body.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, different angles. I see.
or you can chop them up
Yeah,
into
yeah.
6 pieces. There is a tutorial for like the 6-piece
Booba
booba.
optimization.
Yes.
Yes, of
So
course.
complicated.
It is.
Oh yeah, that would, like, if they're round, you could just draw a quarter and like mirror it and just like and use some like creative glue and reflection. Yeah. I'm writing this down.
Focus. When are you gonna utilize this information?
To make it like less, to take less processing power. Gotta
Oh right.
spare those cores.
I forgot. For some reason. I forgot commissions were a thing for a quick sec, and I thought Okus was going to utilize that on his own model, and I was like, "What?"
I mean, I didn't
It's
say
never
I was
clarified
or
one way or
wasn't.
the
Yeah,
other.
I was just saying.
Have him bounce like the Old Spice guy.
Mm.
There you go.
Hey, yo. The Old Spice.
Oh, whoa! AR14 Works is in chat. Yeah, definitely go check out Inochi live 2D, not live 2D. Sorry, Inochi 2D. Yeah, shout out properly. Yeah. Thank you so much for your your work on that. Really, really cool stuff. Okay, so that was that. There's separation.
I think they asked one last little thing, the like how to make a toggle appear with a certain expression. I'm not sure exactly what they mean, but if they mean like that stuff happens when you do something like that, yeah. You just need the right parameters in your rig, and then you set it up mostly in your tracking software, like VTube Studio. That's where you just need to make sure the right parameters exist so that they can, but they mostly set it up in the tracker.
Yeah.
For it to actually happen.
Yeah. Follow the separation guides, and you can also draw expressions for your rigger to have guidelines. Like I gave my rigger mouth guidelines so that she knew exactly what shapes I had in mind for Yam. Otherwise your model rigger is just gonna have to guess what you want.
Yeah, having like head turns was what my mama gave me, like sketch head turn like layers in my like thing that I imported, and it was so easy.
Yeah,
it took all
you
the
just
guesswork out of
match the
you
thing.
just match it.
And
in
if
the
you
coloring
draw, this sounds silly, but if you draw with a 3D model and you trace the 3D model and have those head turns, then everything looks so smooth and consistent, and you're not worrying about your own like perspective knowledge. So if you go into Clip Studio and you use like their 3D guideline, and then you draw your character in all the head turn angles, then you have an incredibly consistent head turn guide for your 2D animator.
Oh yeah.
There's also Daz Studio, which you can do that as well.
Ooh, good to know.
It has a learning curve, but that's how I generally do like that type of perspective.
Having the XY corners sketched out would be a heavenly thing.
Yeah.
Please, everyone, drawing
You
models.
mean you can't just what is it called? You can't just make them the right click auto generate the corners and it turns fine? No.
That's like a good starting point sometimes, but if you wish to avoid the uncanny valley,
Watching my rigger do my nose and like generating the corners for the nose, it didn't work.
It
so
tries its
well.
best.
It tries its best.
But you know, so am I. And look how that turns out.
I still can't believe my rigger mama got this nose working the way she did. Noses are so hard in Live 2D. If you have anything beyond a dot, it's just
That's why it's usually just a dot.
that's why it's usually just a dot. But it's something like as a rigger you should really learn, because it'll get you clientele with a variety of art styles beyond Love Live. Not bashing on the Love Live art style. I'm just saying that's a popular one.
Go watch Kindred VA's nose stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah. Okay.
What I would say for somebody starting out, since like I just made my that's the only one I've ever made, is I thought I knew how to cut it and where to separate the layers from watching the videos, and it gave me a good start.
Yeah.
Every character design is going to be different. Think about that. Like Yam said, have more layers versus less layers, because I ended up having to go back and redraw a few things because I put it all in the same layer and then realized, oh no, these two parts of my hair need to overlap and move independently. So no, I have to go back and redraw it. So you got to think 4-dimensional, 3-dimensional when you're drawing a 2D thing.
Yeah.
There's some.
Go ahead.
There's some really, really good like educational base structures that are out there.
Yeah, like you can treat them as like a dissection model. Sorry, that's kind of gruesome, but that's how I use them.
Play operation.
And it helps you understand because you can download the motion data and you can play with the model, and then you can have Photoshop open at the same time, like, oh, how did they get that to work? And then you look at the you look at the cutting and you're like, oh, that's how you get that to work. So yeah,
reverse engineer.
You'll be prepared for a waifuectomy.
Okay, that's gonna be the new term. Yeah.
Waifuectomy.
Rub in.
Oh my god.
Hasubandoscopy.
I want to know the way your mind works.
Too, I think Okis is one of the most interesting minds of our generation. Let me say that.
Your title being Galaxy Brain, that's not to be taken lightly.
I've seen the greatest minds of my generation destroyed by Live 2D.
Yeah.
And you remain. You triumphed.
I will say, like, I've done both, like, drawing a model separately, and I've also done cutting a model. And I'm gonna say for most art styles, drawing things separately is gonna be easier. Just have a separate file of, like, everything completely, like, not merged together. And then have one where you think you're merging things right. My unmerged Yam model has 3,000 layers, and then the merged one has has about 1,400.
And your 12 gigabytes of RAM computer handles
16, thank you very much.
16, okay. 16, what?
It takes off like a jet plane, but yes, it does.
Uh-huh.
I mean, presumably VRAM helps. How much VRAM you got on there? You running like what, a 2070 Super or something like that?
1080.
Yam's computer case is a freezer.
1080.
Yeah.
Oh right. You said that earlier.
Yeah.
Oh. Those 10 series really they try their best. They're
the little GPU that can. Let me tell you.
Yeah. My 1060 caught up with it for a long time.
Miracle PC.
I used 1080 for several years.
Yep.
So good.
Yep.
Hope you have a Noctua
that's
cooler.
What I had until
I do have Noctua coolers. Thank you very much.
There you go. This stream sponsored by Noctua,
No.
apparently. And the IRS.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh no,
Unrelated,
I've
but
killed
semi-
again.
Unrelated, but unrelated, but semi-related. If you guys are playing Final Fantasy 14, make sure to upgrade before the new thing because the 1080 is not going to cut it.
Oh no!
Oh no!
That's gonna
Yeah,
ruin so
What?
many people's fun experience. Oh no.
Yep.
I finally had to put my 1060 based computer on a little ice flow and send it out with a conch shell heralding it because it's only barely on the minimum requirements for a lot of things,
Oh,
including Pal World. I had a
Oh,
ping
no.
tube for Pal World, bro. Couldn't do both. Couldn't do both. That's when I knew it was time. It
That
was
game
time.
is sadly not very optimized.
No.
It is not.
Um,
It's not.
Can't claim that many games are these days.
True, which is sad as hell. But you know,
Uh-huh.
we try.
Yeah.
We try.
All right. On to
Don't
the
blame the
next
devs.
question. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to sleep anywhere close. Oh, and people on the EST are even later here.
Woo! Midnight, baby!
Midnight. All right.
what was
Let's
the next question?
The next question is a 3D one.
go.
It is any thoughts
Ooh.
on the value of high ticket 3D tracking for streaming? What would you recommend for someone interested in 3D tracking VTubing?
Ah.
Squeegee.
Oh. Okay. Welcome to my TED Talk. Okay, so I would beg that most VTubers don't need full body tracking. Unless you are specifically planning something that would require it, like you are planning to do like a lot of VR chat content or doing something creative or any kind of like mixed reality thing, I would argue that you usually really, really don't need it. Like, there are a lot of webcam solutions now where if you have 2 webcams, you can get it to do that. There's stuff where you can get it just from just like looking at you. Honestly, for most people, just getting a Leap Motion hand tracker is more than enough.
Yep.
Like, unless you were trying to do a I don't even like if you're trying to do like what Fillion does maybe, or if you're trying to do like a live 3D concert to some degree, which would be getting into a whole bunch of other things, or you're just like into like VR chat and that kind of culture. Honestly, I don't think you need it.
Yeah.
And if you are thinking about doing it, definitely like baby step your way in because getting into that is so expensive.
Mhm.
It is.
It is so expensive. And the problem right now is that it is changing so quickly that things are becoming outdated and being like left in the dust essentially
It's the
before
90s
you've
for
gotten their
that
money's
stuff,
worth
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like there's like still the like Valve base stations and trackers thing that is still kind of like I don't want to call it the meta for 3D, but kind of for 3D tracking, but that's like several $1,000s to get a good setup out of, and that's a lot like right out the gate. Like
Yeah.
get yourself like Sony Mokopi is like $300-400.
And I've heard
Do that
they're
first. It's
they're
pretty good.
You know, decent for the majority of uses. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to recalibrate a lot apparently with Mokopi, but like,
Not even now. They released a thing that lets you connect it to Slime VR's
Oh.
infrastructure, which is much better for
oh,
it. So
good. Yay.
So they've solved a lot. They've been very receptive to like user feedback on it, and they've made a lot of changes in the. I guess it's a little bit over a year maybe since they released. I think they were in beta though.
Yeah.
So they've been very receptive. So
Yeah.
I'd say that's a really good foot in the door. Try like if you can get your hands on Slime VR. It's really hard. They're in like really long back order right now, but they're really good.
Okay.
Question. What are your thoughts on? I don't know if you saw it, but the issue that Zen had with the Rococo where it burned her hands.
Unfortunately, that is like I have worked in because I teach. I've been involved in teaching like 3D animation to some degree, and unfortunately, that is something that is known about Rococo's suits.
Wow.
Is that
okay.
their battery does not have a proper heat sink. So you are not supposed to wear them for anything more than 2 hours maximum
Jesus.
because of that.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
unfortunately, it is one of those things where they do say you shouldn't wear them for a certain amount of time. And therefore, I don't think Zentreya or anyone who has
Yeah.
that problem has any grounds for going after them because they are going outside of like what is recommended use for it.
Oh my god.
But it is it is a known problem in like
Mhm.
people who know like doing 3D mocap. It is a known problem in the community.
Mhm.
Dang.
But there are other like retailers who are now stepping up with their own solutions to the like full mocap suits that have ones that don't do that. So
That's
there
good.
are options.
Okay.
Stretch Sense has some good stuff. They've got some hand trackers now that are surprisingly like price range. And they are into sponsoring people. So
Nice.
But
The
yeah.
budget options, actually, the second generation Xbox Connect. I rigged that up at once, and I worked it through was it VR chat. So it's possible if you've got one of those old
Mm.
Xboxes, the second gen of it can be rigged.
Dang. Wait.
Or I mean, honestly, for even
Yeah.
better than that, if you have the iPhone, if you have an iPhone 10, it's like your secondary one. There is oh my gosh, what is it called? It's called like webcam thing.
Yeah,
There's
it's like
an
that
app you can
kid
get
that
on your
made it.
phone.
Wait, what is it called?
Yeah, I think it's called webcam motion capture.
Let me see.
Yeah, webcam motion capture. I think it
Like
has
the
a
mocap.
yeah, something like that. It has a phone app that uses your
Yeah, I see.
like just like your
Yes.
phone camera, and it sends VMC protocol, which is what all like 3D softwares communicate their tracking data with, and it sends it, and it's supposedly really good.
Dang.
So there's a lot of solutions to not actually necessitate any of the expensive 3D gear.
Yeah.
I would say only invest in that if your use case after you have already tried things necessitates it.
Mhm.
It's so expensive. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
worth
yeah.
it for most people.
And there's always Source Filmmaker.
I see. Yep. Well, thank you.
Skibidi
I,
Toilet's the most
Source
popular thing in the
Filmmaker.
world.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't even like. I didn't know anything beyond the name Leap Motion and Mokopi. So I'm really glad you were here. Oh my gosh, if you weren't here,
Got you.
thank you. All right, here we go. Back with another live 2D question. I'm so sorry. Poor Static. I'm. Thank you for chilling, man.
Chilling in the salad.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm getting information. I'm chilling.
Oh,
bro.
okay, okay.
I'm-
You're
That's
researching.
good. Yeah,
You
you're
know.
researching. That's cool.
Oh,
Okay. What's
there's
up?
actually one thing I read. The free trial version of Cubism, there's like a limit to how many deformers you can use. And it's like-
Yes.
it's like 50, which sounds like a lot,
It's
but it's not enough.
Just
Do like a really simple model at most.
yep. Or
I think I had over 200 warp deformers on the last one that I did.
Jeez.
But you nest them, you see. It's not on each individual part.
right,
This is
right,
like-
right.
Rule of thumb is maximum 2 different like parameters on a given thing. So
Yeah.
it's easier to troubleshoot.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, just keep that in mind if you're doing the free version.
Once warp deformers get involved, my brain shuts off. I hate those things. I'd literally rather change things. Like, I'd rather change the art mesh itself than use warp deformers.
You're crazy. Yeah, you can revert a warp deformer to its original state with the press of a button. What if you make a mistake?
This is why I don't rig models anymore. This is why.
Oh no.
Okay, anyways, on to the next question. Here we go. This person says, I believe that a VTuber model can be too bouncy. I'm talking about models that move too much and are distracting from the actual on-stream content. Do you agree that there is such a thing as too much on VTuber models? Also, wondering if you might have insight into why Corpo VTuber models look more stiff compared to indie models. Okay, let's take the first question first. Is there such thing as too bouncy on a VTuber model?
I kind of think so. I kind of think so.
Depends on
Everything
preference.
has to be
Theoretically,
extreme.
it's possible,
So,
but I mean,
I consider...
No.
Yeah, no.
Because it's in it's
I
the
mean, I
reason
guess it
why.
could be subjectively distracting
what I
or
mean,
whatever.
yeah.
But
Yeah, it's a very subjective thing. Because
It
for me,
also
there's
how
been
much
some models where I've seen, and I'm like, the rig is like crazy. Like, it's a good ass rig. It's a good rig. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, that's a lot, bro.
you know, personally, my very favorite place for extremely sophisticated like bounce and jiggle physics is the eyes.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a
My eyeballs.
But having like the eye fluid kind of shimmer when you blink is like, that looks
Fire.
really nice.
Yeah.
I used to hate that so much. Like, I used to hate it. But like my current model has it, and I'm like, I just ended up liking it after like I got used to it.
It just gives you.
I think
gives you more, more motion.
Yeah.
I think it can be a few things. Like maybe the person who has the model doesn't know how to set it up in the software and has the toggles far too high, or maybe they move a lot, or a combination of those that sends the jiggles just everywhere. So it could be a bunch of things. It's not necessarily the who did it. It could be settings, it could be high movement, it could be so many different things.
Yeah, I agree. I think if it's obviously an error, that's would be too much. But if it's not an error, if it's just the model, it's just in my opinion.
It is very trial and error setting.
Oh my
like,
gosh, so much.
Even if the parameters are fine.
Yeah.
But like the way you, because even if I have it set like a pretty normal way in VStudio, sometimes I have to like push parameters way closer together than you'd ever think you'd have to, or pull them out. And then it's like, you know what I mean? You just have to talk it into behaving a little.
Yeah.
But basically, you know, add jiggle to taste.
Yeah, I think some of it's kind of uncanny sometimes. Like, I know that the whole eye jiggle thing is definitely an acquired people who are new to this, where it's a little uncanny for them, or like the eyelash jiggle. But then again, there's some of it too where like, I know that like it's like, you know, I appreciate this is happening, but we're getting eye jiggle and tummy jiggle physics and stuff like that. But sometimes it's done in a way that is like not imitating reality to the point where it makes me a little uncomfy, where like your boobs are moving a little too much like water for me.
That's
And
really
it's-
hard not to do. It's really hard not to do.
Yeah, in
that.
live
I'm sure
TV.
it is. I don't doubt it.
Or
The
the
first-
independent anime run thing
Yeah.
that's also wrong.
Yes. They have minds
Like,
of,
some of
They
it,
don't bounce
but it gets a little
independent.
uncanny for me.
yeah, some of it is like style, like you might want it to be kind of weird and like cartoony, but so yeah, there's also just like a learning curve. The first
Yeah.
time I tried to apply like booba physics, it was like the Mario portraits, you know.
Yep.
It was like it took a lot of research, you know, very well rationed research to like get it right.
Yeah, like
Basically, you need a lot more warp deformers as the answer.
I see.
Or just like flan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I have a theory. I think when people say this a lot of the time, they're looking at live 2D showcases, and the showcases are showing. They're
That is
pulling out all the stops,
Yeah.
and there's way more motion on screen than will ever be in the stream. Ever. Like I used
Yeah.
to think
Actually, yeah.
I used to think that
Those walking toggles.
Yeah. Yep.
The TikToks too.
Yes.
A lot of people pull them out for TikToks.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas when you're just sitting here for
Well, you gotta catch their attention.
for 4 hours, playing Mario 64, you're just gonna sit here like this. It's just how it is. And like most people don't know right now that I've got crazy wing physics. But then when I want to show them off, I'm gonna show them off, man. Let me like my wings.
Show them off. Show them off.
Yeah, I'm gonna show off my crazy wing physics. Like my wings can
She's flying
go,
away.
man. My wings can like really move. But like the majority of the time, I'm
They schmovin'.
just kind of like this.
I
And
think a plane is like
yeah, and I'm kind of just like this. And you see a flap when I like turn a little bit, but
Mhm.
I'm not like doing this all the time, you know?
You could set that to react to high pitch. So if
I
you go
have
supersonic mode, you start flailing.
I have this for high pitched. But
Look at them wings go.
yeah, look at the wings
Who
go.
needs
So-
who needs booba physics if you have wing physics?
Exactly. And that's the
Oh,
other
yeah.
thing I want to say, like, it is stylistic preference. Just like animation style
Mhm.
is something,
Mhm.
rigging style is definitely a thing. And people going to
Yeah.
these, like, I would say, like, the most famous one being, like, Kevin 2D. He does very bouncy fluid models, and the people going to him clearly want that style. Like it is
Mhm.
a preference of the person who is commissioning the model. So it's okay if it's not your preference. It's not mine either. But you just have to remember that that was a deliberate choice that someone made. A lot of the time, unless it's a problem like Okis's, like where he was like, I just put bust heavy physics on it and it's moving like a Mario painting. Like that. Or it could be a settings issue, but the majority of the time, especially if you're looking at more polished content creators with like a large following, the majority of the time it was an intentional choice, and like, you know, you can just keep scrolling, you know. But there's something like I chose my rigger very like carefully, and then I gave her a 2-page document with very little spacing as exactly like what I wanted. It's okay, she's a friend.
You're
And
the dream commissioner, Yam. That's like the most helpful.
I
amount
gave
of
her
information.
examples. I showed her an example for the torso I wanted. I showed her an example for the legs I wanted. I showed her example for the wings and the ears and the animal companion. Like, I showed her examples of everything. And the reason being is because I have a very clear idea in my head of how I wanted my character to move. For instance, I did not want jiggle physics. I have no jiggle physics. However, I wanted my character to have like visual interest, so we put all the jiggle physics in my eyes, my hair, and my wings. So like when I move a lot, you're gonna see like those kind of go crazy.
Look at him go!
Look at him go! Yeah. So that's the parts that I was like, I need those to give all the visual interest in my model, and that is like a style preference thing. And then instead of like the hip sway, I didn't want any hip sway because again, I'm trying to not appeal to that demographic. So I have tilts. I have wiggles instead.
Yeah.
So
You lean.
I lean. And I think it's like very cutesy rather than like sultry. That's what I was really trying to avoid with my motion. So that's why I gave my rigger like very specific instructions of how Yam moves and how Yam does not move. And you should really pay attention to like rigger style. Like if you are like being critical of one rig because you're like trying to parse out what you want in your own rig, you're gonna have to like do research as to like, oh, I like it with how this VTuber moves as versus I don't like it how this VTuber moves, and that'll give you a better understanding of like what you want for your own character. Rigger style's a thing. Oh, the second part. Sorry, I went on like a tangent and a half. I just realized
how informative.
I looked back at the clock. That was a 7-minute rant, guys. That was 7 minutes.
Greetings from the world of tomorrow.
You're going crazy out here.
And
I think we're all taking our turns on 7-minute rants, though.
Yeah.
Like, that could have been a video. Oops.
It is a talk show,
and it still can be.
It is a talk show. Yeah. So the second one is, I wonder if you guys have insight as to why Corpo VTuber models look stiff compared to indie models.
Yes. Expensive. You have 90 VTubers in your agency. That's going to start adding up.
Oh,
and you got to debut them in bundles at a time, just one. When it's just one.
And you can't be outclassing your first generation with your sixth generation in a way that's going to make them look bad and require them to get brush ups, which are then going to be expensive.
Law of diminishing returns,
money
bro.
thing. It's a whole money thing.
And companies run on ROI, return on investment. What are they getting back for adding in that additional layer of movement? Not a lot. And there's also a consistency of brand, like was mentioned. You don't want such a vast difference between your brand. So you're not going to suddenly have this new gen, be able to dance on command or anything crazy.
Yeah.
Also, they're probably assuming they're eventually going to get 3D and stuff anyway. So when they want to do the fancy stuff, they do that.
Yeah.
But when they got to, also, one thing I'd love to know more about that will probably never be revealed is like how many models do they start working on and then not use? Because like
I actually know this. I know this.
Wow. Do tell.
Call on Yam.
So I've actually seen 3 defunct models of Hololive that never saw the light of day. But the way they deal with this, at least in Hololive, I have no clue about Nijisanji, but the way they deal with this in Hololive is they repurpose those models later down the line, or they will ask the same artist to come back and just rework the model for a new generation, so that they don't completely cut their losses on that. For instance, Sakamata Chloe, you know how her color scheme is gray, black, and red? Originally, that character was meant to be a thieving raccoon, but they didn't get they didn't find the right person for it. So they repurposed it as a cute orca with like a mask, an orca mask rather than a raccoon. Like,
Oh.
yeah.
Boy, did that work out for them.
Oh,
So-
that's cool.
Yeah.
there's
actually
ways
fire.
to not like completely have losses when it comes to like, as long as the VTubers still pre-debut, you can make it work.
So do they
Yeah,
have
it's like the tattoo artist that fixes up your drunken decisions.
Yeah. God
so
damn it.
like, if they know to debut 5 people or 3 or however many, do they like have a couple extra like designs somewhere where it's like, okay, the
that
raccoon's
way.
not working
Yeah,
out?
it seems that way. They say basically we couldn't cast anyone for this one, so we need to rework this. And then they included in the next generation. Sakamata Chloe and Takane Lui both had reworks. Takane Lui was like this like super fancy lady with a super big feather hat at some point.
Oh, kind of like
Yeah, and
Kakuman Bada Kalom-esque.
yeah. And then she got reworked into like a very much more down-to-earth design. But both models got done. So it's like, it's interesting how they repurpose things in the pipeline. However, at least from Nijisanji losing models, there has been leaks on a certain website of some unused models, and they never have seen the light of day after. But there's been like official promotionals leaked with these models, so I am inclined to believe them. But you know, they just seem to not be used after that.
Yeah. Then they lose a lot of the models they debut though.
Yeah. But I would imagine that Nijisanji's rigging costs less than a Hololive rig. Just from the amount of body movement the talents are allowed. And then
they rarely have like much like pendulum physics at all. If you look at like their hair, the movement is usually so minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they do brush ups in a lottery system. Sorry, not a roulette. A lottery system based on like you basically just have to wait around and wait for a brush up if you want like more movement in Nijisanji, because they have so many talents. Whereas places like VShojo, you don't get a model provided at all. That's out of your own pocket, but the good news is you own it, and you can pay for new models or upgrades whenever you want. So like that's the model that VShojo decided to go with, and it turns out to give us like top quality rigs in VShojo.
I think a little of it too might be just like kind of sticking more to like the Japanese like animation style where it's just minimal movement in general, you know?
Yeah.
I've read that like anime is kind of I don't know if it's true, but it's like it seems like it's kind of partially based on like bunraku puppetry, you know?
Yeah.
Like they have like that stiff kind of like sliding around kind of movement. And I think a little bit of it is like an actual artistic choice. Like they want that stiff kind of look.
Yeah.
Because it's less, maybe it's further from Uncanny Valley or whatever, you know? Also less expensive
Yeah.
is always a plus.
And I mean, it works sometimes. Like Inugami Kurone, she technically has more facial expressions, but like the best clips are when she's just locked into happy mode. And it's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. I will say there's a limitation angle here too, which is that at least Hololive and Nijisanji, as far as I'm aware, both have proprietary software they use
That
because
is true.
they made tech deals before the days of all of these things existing so freely and openly to us, whereas your micro agencies all are pretty much using like Live 2D and something similar, so they tend to get the better tracking. Hololive and Nijisanji don't necessarily inherently have that. And I don't even know at what point it changed, but Nijisanji didn't have the ability to pin props to models.
Nor did Hololive.
Until relatively recently.
Nor did Hololive.
Until recent.
Right. And now, are we allowed? Am I allowed to get on my soapbox? I've been waiting. You guys ready?
It's your show.
Okay. The real like huge thing that irks me about Hololive and Nijisanji models is the pipeline is all wrong, baby. It is all wrong. They need to change the way they have models made. So the way Hololive and Nijisanji models are made, seemingly from an outsider who has been like trying really hard to figure out how they're made, basically they find a famous artist who has worked on a mobile game and or anime.
Popular.
A popular artist, one that has a name in the industry. And then they say, make us a live 2D model. And especially early on, 99% of them have never worked with live 2D. That is the, like, the reality of, like, why I think these models turn out like such a variety of quality in their movement. It is because these people, like, I feel like I have made, I want to say 10 models now. 3 for myself. No, 11 models. This is my 11th live 2D model. And I still feel like I could get better at separation and understanding how things are going to look when they're rigged. I still had to rework 2 things on this model, even on my 11th live 2D model. So you have to realize that, like, this is a skill that takes time to master, and these, albeit professional artists, have no experience. You are seeing the first pancake, so to speak, of these artists in this medium that is completely foreign to them. And that's why you see, like, EG has a video on this, blatant mistakes. We see, like, anatomy issues that are blown even more obvious, like they become become even more obvious when it's in motion, and it gives you an uncanny feel. And then you see, like, design choices that were horrible for a live 2D model, like putting all the interesting stuff down by the character's ankles. Like, that kind of stuff that I'm just like, it's because these people don't have experience in the industry. You need to start hiring professionals in this industry, because this industry now has professionals in that can do a better job than someone who's out of their element in live 2D. So that's why I believe these models turn out with such a variety of quality. It's because I don't blame these artists at all. They're on a deadline and they have to learn a new skill.
These artists don't make anatomy errors in their other artwork.
Yeah.
It's only in the live 2D models, which I feel so bad critiquing some of them.
Right.
Like, some of the models for it, but it's like, these people know how to do character design. They are phenomenal artists, but, you know, what is a one-time mistake in one illustration that just gets to be like, oh, okay, we move on from it?
Yeah. And
if you draw someone without collarbones on their model, it's gonna be like that forever. That is just the way that they are now.
And people stare at it for hours at a day. The huge issue is, like, I feel like something in their production isn't working. I think the deadlines are tight, and they're learning a new skill at the same time, and things get thrown out the window
Mhm.
because of it. Like pretty much every Oshi I've had like a considerable like a not so great model. I feel so bad for like people who like started trying to trash talk the artists of Tsukumo Sana, Magni Desmond, Nora Vesper, some of my favorites in Hololive,
Yeah.
because their models didn't turn out like amazing the first time. And you know, they're good artists. You look at their portfolio and it's amazing. It just means they're not good at live 2D, and it's because they've never done it
Mhm.
before. Like, how can you expect someone to do something perfect the first time? You just can't. So, yeah, I really, really need them to realize that there are hundreds of live 2D artists who can do a better job and deliver a better model than the famous artists who are famous for something completely different.
Oh, but it cost more because they know what they're doing.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
I
But with that,
wonder.
no,
Go
you can
ahead,
go. You
Zach.
can go.
I was no.
No, bro. I
Go
was eating
ahead.
my chips. I was eating my chips. Keep going.
I wonder if some of it is also because they do have so talents and stuff. I know that not all corporate will give computers to the talents. I wonder if some of it is they try to keep it on the lower side to make sure that it works with computer performance.
Oh, that's true.
Oh.
Mm.
That is true.
Muna was streaming out of a laptop
Yeah.
in a
Wow.
car at one point. Yeah. It was all. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, and they do like outfit updates constantly, so they probably want to keep the
Mhm.
basic thing like pretty simple, so they can swap outfits all year round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot of reasons why it is like this.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Basically, it's mass produced versus one weirdo with a dream.
Exactly.
and as
Oh, and yeah, the design is not made for a person. The
yeah.
design is made because the company decides they want to fill a niche and then hire a
Mm.
person to it, and the person is trying to play that character to try and get hired, regardless whether that's how they are or not, or whether it fits their voice or
Yeah. Whereas we are
Mhm.
tailor making, like, regardless of if you're drawing it or not, it's tailor made to you. It is, you have come up with a concept yourself that feels like represents you. You have a good idea of how you want to, like, look, and whether you're drawing and rigging it yourself or hiring someone else to do it, you have, like, complete creative control over the process from the concept all the way to the final rig. And you can give feedback, and the nice thing about indie is no one is under NDA. You can have your artist and your rigger actually talk to each other. Please, if you are getting a live 2D model, I don't know how 3D works, but if you're getting a live 2D model, give your artist the contact to your rigger, give your rigger the artist to your the contact to your artist, and let them communicate about how things are going to work out. There's been so many rigs that I've just been like, okay, I don't know who's rigging this. I guess I'm hosed because I don't know how they're going to want this separated. And that's really hard. It is a collaborative effort. It is definitely not something that you can just I think when you just buy a live 2D model and then you get a rigger completely separate after contact has ended with your artist, things don't go well. Things just it's not. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've rigged for just random models that were drawn a long time, and they're not in contact anymore. I'm just like,
What do I do with
I don't even know what this part's supposed to be. So here I go. I guess this moves like
Yeah.
this layer does. Oh, please also label everything.
Label everything.
That's the best thing you could possibly do.
Oh gosh.
Just like come up with a sensible labeling scheme for all the body parts and sections, and
When
you know,
whenever a rigger sees layer 257 in the folder,
Yeah.
they sweat bullets.
yeah.
But yeah, it is a collaborative effort, and I don't know. I cannot say one way or the other if Hololive allows their rigger and their artists to speak to each other, but I'm guessing they don't. I'm guessing not,
I'm gonna bet no.
right?
From my knowledge of how their 3D works, their 3D people don't get to communicate with any of the mocap or any of
Oh.
the other things that are gonna be a part of that. And often the person who's doing 3D for them, because it's studios, don't even necessarily get to contact the person who's gonna do the like shader setup necessarily.
Oh gosh,
So I'm gonna guess
that
no.
sounds
Bro.
scary. Scary. Like it,
They gotta set up like
Yeah.
a black site on Tsushima or something for all these guys to just be sequestered for 4 months.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I mean, I feel like an NDA should cover and allow for that,
Right?
right? Like,
but I feel
there
like
has to
they're
be a
set
way.
in their ways. I feel like that's the thing with like the corporations. They're
Mm.
like, this has worked for us since 2016, and we're gonna do it like this for the
Yeah.
rest of time. Even though the industry,
Director Tone is in charge.
yes, a Retsuko reference. Like even though the industry has completely changed around them, there wasn't live 2D professionals before Hololive and Niji Sanji started. There was only artists who were well versed in live 2D for mobile games, but that's not where their bread and butter came from because there was no way to make a bread and butter like living off of live 2D. Brian Sway has talked about this before, about how like a market and industry was essentially created out of the thing that he just happened to start learning for mobile games.
Yeah.
So
mm-hmm.
they have a lot of growing to do and they have a lot of catching up to do, and I feel like if they just started through a live 2D professional and did things with communication between riggers and illustrators, they'd have a lot less updates that they'll need to do later. Yep.
Do they want to be Nintendo or do they want to be Sega?
Which one is the one stuck in their ways? I feel like they're both stuck in their ways, okay.
I was gonna say that's an interesting.
Well, more
Mhm.
like Nintendo went with like motion control and wacky innovations. I was going with Sega
oh.
because they died.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I'll think with a better
Oh.
metaphor next time.
Okay, I see now. I was just like, wait, I think both of those companies did not innovate. Okay, so
Okay, do they want to be Sony or do they want to be Hudson Soft? Okay.
I see. That's better. Because I don't even know who Hudson Soft is, which means they're probably dead. Yeah. Anyways, that was the last question. Do you guys have anything else you want to add? Like, for the people watching at home, is there anything else about VTuber models you want to add?
Mm-mm.
Add
I
an
think we
apple
already
on
said,
your
but
head.
if you're getting one, have a good reference, please. Pretty please. I can't ask more kindly.
If you
Um,
are getting a model, a basic front and back turnaround is very important, and preferably a side view at the very least. Like,
mhm.
you can't just expect your modelers, whether that be 2D or 3D, to just make things up as they go.
Expression references
Yeah.
are handy bo
No.
dandy
Mm-hmm.
if there's going to be special ones.
Yes.
And you only need a couple, really. I use like 3 of my expressions 99% of the time at most.
Yep.
Mhm.
Angry, sad, and extra sad.
I only use expressions for thumbnails. Everything else is
Oh, yeah.
natural.
I forget about my toggles all the time.
Yeah, same.
That is the curse.
So just keep
But
that
yes.
in mind while you're cutting them checks.
Yep. Please, front and back at least. If they don't know what the back looks like, they're not gonna know how to model like half of your 3D model.
For 3D, I will tell you that honestly, we can kind of extrapolate the back of the model.
Really?
Please give us at least a side view.
Mm.
Yeah.
Side view is more important than back view for 3D, at least for me.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes even better, if you're getting a 3D model, give us a 3/4 view.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that
like
makes life
this.
Great. because
3/4
anime
up
models,
and down.
side view isn't super important on a lot of 3D models, especially for VTubing. People don't really see you from the side. 3/4 is really important though.
Oh.
I know that with certain things with VBridger, like you don't even have like if you have VBridger, you don't even have to have like toggles because it'll pick it up.
Yeah. With VBridger and like anything that's like 52 ARKit tracking though, you do have less control over like Yam has very specific mouth forms for
I do.
everything where it's you've got the precision of I want this mouth to make that thing. With the ARKit for VBridger and for like ARKit like in general, you don't have as much control because you're relying on them combining a specific way. So they'll break if they don't combine that way. So like my current model, it hides, but my lip breaks when I smile. It clips through my teeth because I wanted to have a lip fang and had weird asymmetry and other things happening that made it impossible to not have clipping. So like
Yeah.
limiting.
So moral of the story: don't use a lip fang.
Well, yeah.
They're cute.
Asymmetry bad.
I love
Symmetry
them.
great. From a modeling standpoint, from a design standpoint, symmetry bad, asymmetry great.
Yeah. Hard.
Sucks. I do have one maybe final quick tangent that there are some limitations to things that are like much more possible in 2D or much more possible in 3D in terms of just character design.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like we know and love those jackets that hang off the shoulders. VTubers love them. Don't do that to a 3D modeler. It requires some really creative solutions that suck. Skirts are not as fun in 3D, especially when they have a lot of layers. They're actually really evil.
I hear ruffles are a bitch.
Depends on your modeler. Depends on how you want to move.
E.g.
RTX on
Do you like to
Ruffles.
model Ruffles? Cause
Yeah, I like to model Ruffles. I like to model Ruffles. Mr. Zingy likes to model Ruffles. There's a bunch of people who like to model Ruffles. There's a like systematic way to do them. If you know how to do it, and as long as you don't want them to have like crazy specific movement, they're not that bad.
okay, good.
Hey.
Promise.
Good to know.
I'm trying to think because there are things that I don't know necessarily all the ones that I'm trying to think better, but there are definitely limitations depending on which one you pick. Where maybe with 2D you'd yearn for 3D if you're having a more realistic style because you can have more realistic modeling and then the perspective is solved.
Yeah, like
You don't have to rely on. Yeah. No uncanny rigging.
Unless that's your
Maybe.
theme.
Well, an uncanny
No.
VTuber? That'd be creepy as hell.
It's like a
I will
really
say, I
human
want to see
mouth.
more horror. Like, there's so
Yeah.
much opportunity for horror in VTuber models.
Oh yeah.
Bro, I'm
like, I
seeing
don't
a
see.
few popping up recently. They go crazy, yo. There's
Yeah.
I forgot their names, bro. But there's one that's like a skeleton guy, and like he's just like a rib cage, and like it's wild as hell, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, is it like a really like ink drawing, like just kind of black and white? I think I've seen
No,
something like
that's a
that.
different person, but I know who you're talking about. They go crazy as well. There's one person that has no face, like they have like their face is like a hole, like a gory hole, and it's like
Oh, that'd be
blood
so
dripping
easy to
out.
rig.
And I was like, yo, that's kind of cool. And
We
then
need to do like a unique model showcase or something.
Yeah. Oh,
I see a lot of stuff.
collab idea. I'm gonna write that down.
Whoa.
Oh, there's a question. Mike Hoover, wonder where some VTubers do their streaming. Like, I live in an apartment and some folks get kind of loud. There's egg cartons.
Yeah.
that you can.
Egg cartons?
Yeah, you put them on your
They're
wall.
called egg cartons. Yeah, the things that
Oh,
you
yeah,
have on
the
your
foam.
throne. Yeah.
The foam eggy thing.
Oh, that's what. Oh, damn. I was
Yeah.
calling some. Okay, where?
Yeah, I have them all over.
Your identifier
I
was
have
the
them
thing
too.
you have on your
Especially
throne.
on
and I
your
immediately
door,
knew.
and then you
That's
should
crazy.
also get something underneath your door if your door has a gap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you can also just have mic settings that mitigate it to some degree. Where I have a noise gate, where I live somewhere cold. I have to have a heater running constantly,
Oh, yeah.
and I can't get rid of it fully in my background of my audio, but my noise gate makes sure you're not hearing just
Yeah,
in my background
same,
constantly.
same.
Dynamic mic is a little easier to keep from picking up far away sounds, but
That too.
But
there seem to be fewer options in the USB realm for some reason.
The funny thing is
Mm-hmm.
with the egg cartons is they literally started originally out with egg cartons. People like way back when people were putting egg cartons on their walls.
Mm-hmm. If you can't afford it, literally
Yeah.
just hang blankets on your walls.
Mhm.
Just anything to reduce the like reverberation off of them.
Or just start buying books. Just stack books everywhere, just books. Like Beauty and the Beast
Just-
room. That'd be a
yeah,
great place to
objects.
record.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else has anything else to add? We got 5 minutes. Otherwise,
You could
Otherwise
read them
it's
too
gonna
at some
be-
point.
1 a.m. on the East Coast. I don't want to do that
Yeah.
to EG.
That's okay. I'd be up anyway.
Oh, I'm not gonna be up much longer. I'm a morning person.
Wow.
Oh, I'm a night
what
person. I got another
weirdo.
like hour or two in me.
Yeah.
Man.
I'll
I stay
probably
up
be
until
going to
6
bed around the
a.m.
time you're waking up. Yeah.
6 a.m.
Sicko crew, let's
Yeah,
go.
I don't have like a day job or anything. I just do YouTube. Like
Mhm.
I got nowhere to be.
Dang.
Dang.
I remember those
Okay.
halcyon
And
days.
I wake up at 6 a.m. just naturally. It's a curse.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Oh no, I can't do that.
I wouldn't
I
even
get
know
up
what
at
to do with
7
the
to
hours.
teach, and it's a fight every single day.
Yeah, we're different people. That's why I'm a morning streamer. Yeah.
You have different perspectives. It's the perfect balance. For sure.
Yeah. But if you think about it, being a morning person as a bat is like still kind of being a night person as a human, so it makes sense.
It's too bad you can't play
Mhm.
Overwatch, Am, because apparently 7 a.m. is the peak hours for that on Twitch.
Nice.
I don't know. I was looking into it. It was crazy. Oh, anyway.
What is that? I'm trying to think of what time zone that would be for.
Oh my gosh, Pandora in the chat.
AM?
Yeah, I
I mean, what works?
that's
what
me like
works?
reaching my sleepy point. It will work. I've been looking into sound treatment. Just staple up all your enemy waifu pillows on your walls, and I'll be fine.
That's called moral
Plus, you got
support.
something nice to look at, right? Yeah, exactly. You got a crowd.
Yeah.
Your stream is never empty. Your waifus are there for you.
The Dr.
Yeah.
Makura room. That'd be a good. And then if you ever wanted to go cam mode, you have like the perfect background.
Yeah, you've got a live you have a live audience.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like a
course.
pandemic era football game.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I remember.
Cutouts in the stands.
Yeah.
You can edit in like fake cheering and stuff. Yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
Anyone else? Anyone else got stuff to add? I am falling
Yeah, I'm
asleep
good.
on
I-
stream.
We're talking
Oh,
about
no.
a waifu. I think
Wait,
we
I
were
probably
done.
shouldn't stay up until 6 a.m.
You've had a character
Yeah.
arc.
And I forgot I had a thing tomorrow. Damn
Yeah,
it.
you have a thing tomorrow.
I hate having a thing tomorrow.
Bro, I hate having
the
to do
worst.
things, bro. That shit's ass.
Stuff's the worst.
Stuff with the thing.
And the
Mhm.
junk.
Yeah.
Can't forget the junk.
Uh-huh.
And the miscellany.
We're stalling,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I
We
think
don't want to
I'm
ruin your
crazy.
gigabits.
Yeah. I would just say to everyone else watching who's like watching this because you want a VTuber model, I'd say obviously looking at our models makes you really excited of wanting to get a custom model that can move and do all the fun things like right away. But I would say take it one step at a time. If you can't continue to make content with a model, like a free to use model for 6 months, then you're probably not going to be happy investing a few thousand into it later.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's like
Indeedly
it is like the trial
Send
period.
tweet.
It's like how you foster dogs before you have a dog yourself. If you can't take care of the you know, the Nintendo dog, maybe don't get a dog yourself.
That's a really good
Mhm.
comparison. It's somehow relevant because it's like a VTuber
Yeah.
almost.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
We are all Nintendogs, aren't we?
That is the conclusion of the stream.
Sure, bro.
We're all just Nintendogs. Okay.
We're all Nintendo.
It's a Nintendo world.
If you like any of the creators you see here, please follow them. They are in the
Are
description
fictional.
of the YouTube VOD. If you're on Twitch, you can go to the pinned comment to find that description. Give everyone a follow. If you are part of the Bat Bunch, that is a requirement. You must follow my friends too. You can unsubscribe if you don't like them later, but subscribe now. You know, and then there's something else I gotta say. I don't remember. We do this once a month, so if you like this, subscribe for more and look out for the next topic. And if you want to submit questions, I usually do that through my YouTube community page, Twitter, Tumblr, and Blue Sky. So follow me on there if you want to witness more of the VTuber Roundtable. And that's about it. Let's go find someone to raid on Twitch.
Oh yeah, Sumi.
Oh, Pia P.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you
Yes,
everyone
thanks for
for
having us.
joining. And I guess I'll go to my end screen. You know,
Mhm.
as always, take care, Bat Bunch.